Good evening, citizens. My name is Chris, and today you're joined by the erstwhile Sol. Say hello, Sol.
Hello, Sol.
The second I said that, I knew I'd fucked myself again. Um, and today we're going to be giving you part two of our Shattersong breakdown of E3 2023.
Chris is on the road.
Yes, I am indeed. I think my audio sounds okay. We'll find out a little bit later if that really was true. But in the 4 or 5 10-second bursts of recording myself maybe 10 minutes ago, it sounded fine in air quotes. So let's leave it at that. Um, Dear listeners, you join us late at night, so 10:30 on a Tuesday, when Sol and I have been partaking in a few beverages, and we're now going to talk
I've,
about
I've,
something
I've,
that was 6 weeks ago.
popped down the local forge, and now I've got to recall something that was 6 weeks ago. That when looking at the record, because we do like to kind of like info dump after an event
Mm.
of what things have happened while it's fresh. I looked at my column and saw that I had filled in none of it. So this is going to be quite the test of the old,
Test of your
cognitive
wisdom.
powers. I guess we'll call it wisdom.
Yeah,
That'll
sure.
do.
That alleged virtue. It is ironic when you were the one who actually set up the stock.
I
You,
set up the dock, yeah.
yeah, you really
I
led
had
the
the
way.
wisdom then to set up the dock, not to fill it in.
Mm. I think without your vigilant efforts, we would not have had any record at all, and all of us would have forgotten what we did. So I suppose
Yeah, I'm not,
2 out of 3 ain't so bad.
I'm not gonna lie, yours is helping me a bit. So
Yeah, good, good. It's a team game, Empire.
so Empire E3. It happened about 6 weeks ago,
We're going to try our
Friday.
best. Yeah. Do you not
We're
want
gonna
to talk
try our
about
best.
Thursday, traveling up? How are the showers? Excited about the
Honestly,
shops?
honestly, most of my Thursdays are very similar. I get up at a reasonable time, get down for gate open, set up tent, all good. Then we see the rest of Black Scar hop in. It's lovely. Then we go for brunch on Friday morning because we are the most gentrified of Navari.
Indeed.
And
Same place every
then
time in Toaster.
it's the same place every time. Not going to give it away, otherwise you'll be stealing our spots. So,
Yep, that's true.
um, bit of battle training, always good. What keeps us rocking and rolling on those battles. Thanks to our lovely trainer Blythe, Kiki. Henry's his actual name, but
I just don't like it. I think we should formally petition to
that's
change his
weird.
legal name to Tiki. It is weird not being
Yeah,
Tiki,
it's
isn't it?
weird. It is weird. But Friday, time in. Right, yeah, I was this event. I was actually a general. Like the previous one, I was like kind of a general, and then because of the kind of sort of general stuff that was previously happening, I was then actually general for this event.
Congratulations, General Shattersong number 2.
Number two,
Otherwise,
re-elected the
not
next.
literally the shit one, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Actually being re-elected the next event, which is I was expecting it to be last event, so having it this event is even better.
You excited? Terrified?
Yeah,
Apprehensive?
yeah, never. It's gonna be a laugh. Whatever happens, they're always a laugh. But yeah, this one was nice because unlike the previous one where I basically did everything anyway, I actually knew I was gonna have to do everything, and that changes your thoughts on things. Knowing what you're going to be doing for the weekend.
Mm. Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah, without
I
diving into the MC chat for 40 minutes or so. Basically, if you're in, you've got a bunch of meetings to attend, and you know what's on your agenda, right? And do you like having the
it's,
structure to your weekend in that regard?
it's quite nice actually. To be fair, as I've said before, I was kind of doing it anyway. Like I would already turn up to MC, so kind of it already was adding some structure to your weekend. I guess the only difference is it is almost rigid structure rather than before it was optional.
Mm.
It still is technically optional. Still only have to give your orders in. That's really what you need to do. But you'd be unwise to miss the rest of it, and the whole thing of it. The conversations, the discussions, the information, it's all really important. And
Mm.
honestly, you don't anyone can, apart from senators, can turn up. There's no
Specifically them.
reason, specifically senators, yeah. And there's no reason that if you're interested in it, not to turn up and just experience some of it. It probably does seem like long and boring meetings, and if that is how it's seeming, then maybe the game isn't for you, because that is really what it is. It's just long, boring meetings, some conversations, and a lot of politics.
Mm.
But it's actually, as someone who's been going for 2 years or so now, understanding it's quite entertaining. Makes your event.
Mm. And don't
But
forget
again,
the chairs without backs.
I have bought a new chair
Oh, you star.
purely for that reason.
Nice.
Even if I'm not going to be a general, if even if I'm just going to be chilling in the back rows, I'm going to have a backrest. So
Oh, nice.
looking forward to that.
Some certain senators, maybe the one for Tharunin, I believe, have bought parasols for this summit because it's going to be sunny. It's going to be, it
Yeah,
goes 26,
what is
27,
this about?
28. Yeah, I know, right? For E4 especially. We've got some fantastic weather lined up.
The Empire have just been invaded by a cold sun, but we're being invaded by a hot one. Like,
Yeah,
what's that?
I think it's the sign of the end times for the Empire.
Mm,
Yeah.
well, honestly, I think that speculation isn't far off. But hey,
Yeah, I really hope
so
so. Cold Sun. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Exciting. Maybe
E
end of the episode. What's happening in
E3.
2 days?
I was a general. I did some shouty stuff at Thor at standing first. I did do standing. Wow, shouty boy at standing. Good
Hmm.
fun. Had to inform them that the Grendel are coming. Ooh. Then Thorn's Council.
Sorry, just
I don't know.
like, wait, what, the Grendel? Wow,
The
that caught
Grendel
us
are coming.
by surprise.
Whoa.
It's not like we've known there'd be a war a war kicking off round about now for the
Yeah, but
last
also
two
like the last
years.
two events we've done kind of like a resupply going. There's really not a lot on. Better prep.
Mm.
So prep for the Grendel because the Grendel are coming. Um Thorn's Council, we had an election for the Blackthorns, which genuinely surprising, was won by Rizard. Not surprising after the speech he gave. Just if you'd asked me beforehand, I wouldn't have guessed it.
I didn't think he was even
Uh,
standing. I thought he was joking. As
uh,
soon as he says, "Oh,
I
I'll
there,
stand for general," I was like, "Yeah, sure,
there was
Dave."
a moment where because I wasn't sure if I was supposed to vote as well. I did afterwards. It was quite clear that we were supposed to, uh, or could do. And I was just sitting at the back of his queue laughing. And I think it was a thorn I hadn't seen before. Maybe new to Anvil, maybe not. Just kind of looked at me and went, what's so funny? And I went, this is going to be really tough to explain. So I just kind of diverted the conversation to him and asked, why have you voted for Rizard? And he said, well, he's saying all the things that I believe. Speaking the things that I want from a general. And I was like, that's interesting to hear. He did give a good speech. Um, what it was, I can't really tell you. It was 6 weeks ago, but it was good.
Yeah,
Um,
it was broadly, let's finish our dinner and kill off the Jotun war
yeah,
front.
I'm not gonna lie. He stole half the things that I was going to use for mine, but
Yeah,
never mind. If it
good
gets
ideas.
regurgitated, citizens, it's not because I heard it from him first, and you'll just have to take my wisdom on that. Okay?
Yeah, he's got the vigilance to look out for good ideas and the wisdom to absorb them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very loyal though. Idea
Mm.
stealing little bitch. But anyway, we'll leave that for IC Sass.
Yeah,
I'll have to say that to his face now.
if there's anyone to have icy sass with, it's Rizal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, so Rizal got it. Congratulations. Some other very strong candidates out there, but did well. Something else happened at Thorns. We had a Thorn. Cannot remember her name at all. A lone strider, so not even part of a striding. But whoever they were very good bringing forth information regarding the Wintermark General, Kindra of the Fist of the Mountains, uh, an event that was happening. This event was they were being inquisited for their whole Jotun shtick. So they were being inquisited with the fact that basically Kindred does not agree with the rest of the Wintermark's um, take on Jotun and fighting the Jotun and what honourable fighting means.
Mm.
And so essentially the Thorn had come forward to ask the other Thorns to go and make a very loud noise at the Inquisition and let Kindred know that we stand with her. This is quite important. Like I certainly backed it. Kindra is a general that Farron, in particular, very much admires in the way that she goes about things. Very good general. Um, Good friend of Brenos. Rest in peace.
Rip,
Um,
Rip Renos.
but yeah, so definitely wanted that to be made known. So I did a shouty piece to get that known. Um, but yeah, that's kind of all that happened on Friday Thorns Council. Then Friday nights for a general means straight to Miniature Council
Oh,
to the
I thought
evening.
you were going to say Gin Club there, to be fair.
No, Gin Club's only Saturday.
Is it open on a Friday or is it literally only
No,
Saturday
it's
night?
only a Saturday night.
Damn, alright, fair.
Yeah, which you should know because you were there.
I've only gone once. I'd love to pretend I really move in those circles, but I'm a poser at best when it comes to it.
I mean, so am I. Just
You're a
if
better
you if
poser
you
than I.
beg if you beg enough and still pay the cost of the ticket, then you'll get in.
True,
It's not.
and you get up to lots of naughty things whilst in
I don't recall anything. Um,
there. I do not recall. Is that
I do, I do
reminding
not
you of any
recall.
real world politics? But
Hmm?
yeah, maybe a good line should the militia be listening to this podcast.
Very
Mm.
much.
Before you trot down
Oh,
to MC, I do have to offer one correction on the previous episode.
oh,
So
really?
the Navarchas had an election to elect a new leader, and it was between Silver, and then I fudged the name of the player who was opposing Silver, and that was Tegan. So Tegan came second, very very close second.
Has
Congratulations to
someone hopped
Tegan.
in the comments angrily?
No, actually, I got a friend request from them on Facebook after we released the last episode. So I have no idea if that's entirely a coincidence or a subtle hint to deal with my inability to remember people's names. I'm going to take it as the latter and play it safe, so I don't end up with the Iron Hill Striding scalping me at the next summit.
Fair enough.
Cool. So there we go. That's my PSA done. So yeah, Tegan, congrats again on very close second. On to MC.
MC. Again, nice knowing that I was supposed to be there, if you know what I mean. I knew I was meant to be there. I knew what I was doing. It was a lot better opportunity, I'd say, to really kind of get in the mindset, get involved. Um, we get to do a number of things on the Friday. It did really overrun. That's one thing I'll note. Can't remember fully why. There was just a lot going on. But probably let's zip through some highlights. Oh yeah, one of the highlights, the fact that Rizart was sat on a bench the other side of the circle to me, so we couldn't talk, but he would just keep pulling faces at me and pointing at people, and it was quite amusing trying to communicate without actually saying anything. So that was some good game there.
Mm.
Get to whereabouts that was funny. Other things, we obviously need to decide the battles, and because of the way that the battles were working this event, probably the same this event, we had to discuss all three. I read one of them out loud, put on my best dungeon master voice for it.
Oh, can you
It's
give
good.
us an example?
Nope, come
Okay.
find me in game. That's a find out and play for my dungeon master voice.
Damn it.
Fine. Yeah,
Robbed.
unfortunately.
I can tell all of
Rob.
you listeners that it is indeed a fantastic voice.
Yeah. I can tell you it's not very different to my normal one.
Those two are
Therefore
not
fantastic,
yeah, I was
maybe.
going to say
Yeah,
very not mutually exclusive there.
incredible. Wow, grade 8 singing, everybody. Who knew? Who knew?
I mean, I did because I'm your friend, but I bet nobody
Yeah, I
else
also
did
drop it
because they're
at
bad
random
people.
opportunities because for one, I don't believe it always, and two, I don't think anyone else should believe it. But also three, it's like that minor brag, you know, that you have a.
Is it same as a humble brag or just minor brag?
No, it's just a brag. I think
It's full on. It's graduated.
just yeah, it's
Post
a
grad
full on
brag.
graduated brag,
Mm,
post graduated brag. That I have a piece of paper that says I can sing.
nice. I
Um,
mean, we all do assume it is true, but I'm not sure if this is like
no
with
one's seen it. No, it
yeah,
could be the
we haven't seen you do
longest
karaoke.
play ever. That's I'd rather not be at a karaoke, honestly. But
Yeah. There was there's another guy in a group called Spider, Kieran. There's been a long-standing joke that his dad is in jail, and he has never ever confirmed or denied it. Now, I've met his dad. His dad actually drives into Empire, but there's
yeah, I
still
was
a
gonna say
part of
it's not.
me that doesn't believe that. I do believe it's on day release sometimes, and it just happens to coincide with the events we've had this year. But we
Yeah,
don't know. This has been going on for like maybe 4 or 5 years now.
God, this really is Dead Shattersong Diaries After Dark, isn't it? But
Yeah. Oh yeah,
never mind.
definitely. I mean, it is after dark.
It really. Where
Mm.
were we? Oh,
Sorry.
reading
Back on
out
back on
battle
topic.
opportunities, of which one had bombs.
Yep. It had bombs.
It had bombs, and you bet we chose the one with bombs. What were the other two?
I mean, one was
Uh,
fighting Jotun, so you know,
so, well, no,
three.
they were all Jotun. Everything was it was all Jotun last event.
Yeah, but
There's
it didn't
no.
have bombs. That's the thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
One was Jotun with bombs. One was Jotun without bombs, and the other one was Jotun without bombs, but with a construct, which was the one we monstered on.
Yeah. With the Minotaurs and the is it an
Yeah.
Autumn Herald?
Look,
I'm not sure.
I if it wasn't 6 weeks later, I probably could have told you. However, one thing I have to say is, oh my god, PD, please don't stop with the absolute chaotic uh, battle opportunities.
Oh,
These are
yeah, they are great. Have you seen the God, my
yeah,
voice
but
is
that would be
breaking.
spoilers, and
It's on the
we
wiki. It's
should.
not even spoilers. It's public knowledge.
It's public knowledge, but we need to act as if we've recorded this podcast much earlier than we are.
We literally confessed maybe
No, I know
10
we've
minutes ago.
confessed, but otherwise we're not going to get through this.
I was
This is
just
going to
gonna
be
side note zombies. End side
yeah.
note. Just saying.
I don't
Very exciting.
understand what that means because clearly we're recording this after the previous event. Um, awesome bombs. That's all I've written down in the sheet. So I don't
Mm,
know if you want us to go into any more detail other than I think everyone in the tent loved the idea of bombs. There was a lot of discussion of how said bombs would be carried, who would carry said bombs,
hmm
but we wanted bombs.
Yeah.
Bombs was the opportunity. Um,
One
what
question
I
for
was
you
saying,
on
yeah,
the
go for
bomb
it.
side of things is I heard in the grapevine that the heralds had suggested, yeah, once you
It
buy them from us, you can do
it
what you want. Is was
literally
that
said
true? Was that actually true?
in the description of the battle that the heralds, you know, you can take the explosives through the gate. Maybe plant one in Senate. That might be a good idea, or something along those lines.
Wow.
Word for word.
Wow.
Um,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, PD.
and I really enjoyed talking about that late in the evening, which I think again is pretty much all I recall of Friday. A lot of MC, a lot of MC, a lot of waiting around. I feel like because obviously after the main muster, there's the later one where discussing kind of battle plans, which Lottie had come for, and I was sticking around for just to kind of listen in and find out what was happening. We are fighting on the same day as Navarre, bearing in mind that we merc for the orcs now.
Yep.
So obviously an interesting point. I do recall Skywise Raikana going, "Oh my god, I've got an exceptional deal. Two Navari generals," as both Rizar and myself are part of the Black Scar Merc banner that would have been going into battle with him the next day. It's very true.
hmm
But I was trying to big up the rest of the Navarre. because we know that they can do it. We know that they can do it themselves. After the loss of a couple of strong leaders, you can understand why some might feel shaken or a little um, less confident. But I was trying to make sure that that confidence was there because we know they've got it in them. We wouldn't necessarily be leaving them if we didn't think they could.
I thought we were leaving them
Oh,
because we could make money by fighting with other people.
there's a lot of reasons to why we merc, but it's probably something to come and have a chat to us about properly.
Yeah.
I mean, on an OC note, really interesting just seeing other parts of the battlefield
Oh, it
after
is. Yeah.
going to LARP for quite a lot of time. So
Yeah. We're
highly
fighting
recommend it.
against Navarre at E2. Oh, that was fun.
Was really interesting. Yeah.
Really interesting. Cool.
But
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, I think even that conversation at MC was just a lot more. Well, how do we carry said bombs,
Mm.
and who carries the bombs? Who wants to sacrifice themselves? Because essentially, we've been informed that if they go off, anyone within like a 10-meter radius is not going to be looking very very healthy.
Yeah, they were going to be downed, right? But the person holding it was immediately executed. I think their
I
character is dead.
believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I'm so glad that was in there. Because if you think about it, if the bomb like that goes off and everyone's just downed, you just have a physic nearby and you're good to go, right?
Mm.
It's a bit gamey, but like, yeah, the person holding this has just been uninstalled from the labyrinth. That's
Mm.
much more
And
fun.
it turned out that the heralds that were creating them did some of the carrying originally, but then the second half had to give them to, I think it was a specific set of high guard took the
Yep,
took the brunt of them.
Captain Sensible and High Guard. We did. I mentioned this with the first half of this mm, episode event review. I did with Matty that we had a ref come up to us and basically say, "Hey, have you seen High Guard in the last 45 minutes?" We hadn't, and we just sat there going, "Oh my God, what has happened?" Because we did see them earlier in the battle carrying, but we didn't see any
Yeah,
other nations touching it. But it does make sense that the big daddies of the Empire, the OGs, the founders get to control the bombs that could potentially destroy Senate. That does make
yeah.
a lot of sense. And
Um,
also, where would you hide the bomb in Senate? Because these things were, I would say, the size of like a small to medium dog curled up. Like
mm.
they were big, the size of a human torso, much girthier. And what do you do? Do you just leave it in the stands in Senate? Do you just wedge it into the wood, into the rafters, pop it behind a throne or something? I don't know where you would hide it to make it an effective bomb.
I have a plan, but I'm afraid that's redacted
Ah,
for,
fair.
for the purposes of this podcast.
So, can you
As
confirm or deny
well,
that you have a bomb currently, IC, in the Black Scar camp?
that is redacted information,
Cool. All right, moving on.
including the rest of my evening.
Ooh, the whole evening?
Yep.
All right, fair. Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue. I've got some redacted stuff later on, but yeah, I've got nothing to add. To cover this with Matty.
I think you did, yeah.
I think we,
I,
we went to bed
I
at
think
like
we. I
2 a.m.
think.
in the end
I think
because of the bomb
we
chat.
caught you. We caught you at the honeypot. Then it was redacted, and then we met you back camp for, as we said, some nighttime chats about bombs
Yeah, it
and
was
some very
hilarious.
entertaining conversations around the fire until the late. Yeah, it was about 2 a.m.
Mm,
Just chatting and laughing about bombs and who we can bomb and how we can bomb.
and
Because
why?
I don't know if you know, citizens, but we now have bombs in the Empire.
Yeah, confirmed. Any bomb threat must now be taken seriously. If we use, is it Nim Nom's postal service in Navarre to start sending bomb threats to random
the,
people?
the uni bomber does not exist within the Empire, Chris.
You can imagine Matt P just like DMing us like, stop. We know what you're doing. Stop.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness me.
Virtues.
Oh,
Um,
oh goodness.
as usual, should we just rock on to Saturday?
Yeah, this is all 3 days. unless you want to seriously submit a 25-minute episode to the listeners when they're hooked on the sort of hour and a half mark
Well,
kind of.
we give them 3 mini episodes. No,
We've
I'm
actually only
fine.
given them two.
Wow.
It's just me and Matty, then you and then me and you.
Is this going to be shorter than all three of us together?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, when we did Saturday alone as all three of us, it was like 2 hours for
Yeah,
E2.
that's true.
Yeah, long one.
So, Saturday,
Yes.
to be fair, I was up at a decent time. I got a cup of tea, had a bit of a shower, got ready for a scrap because we were fighting and
Mm,
there were bombs
there were
on. Have
bombs.
we mentioned there were bombs
No, we
um,
hadn't. What kind of
on
bombs?
the field? So we were fighting with the Imperial Orcs. They're the ones who have currently purchased us mercs, um, and we enjoy it quite a lot. It's good fun. So went and mustered with the Orcs in their camp, and Riz was doing some kind of pre-battle uh, blood oaths and kind of combat ceremony and things. Very cool.
Mm.
I also received a testimony from him
Oh, oh,
of
I missed
last
this.
song
Oh, right. Damn.
because
Hey,
Farron is the last song.
you are indeed
Yep, still not.
not
Yep,
dead
still
yet.
not dedicated. Still not dead.
Mm.
But yeah, the reason I mentioned still not dedicated is it'll come up later
Mm.
this Saturday. But yeah, last song, quite quite fitting,
Yeah, very
quite
fitting.
upsetting.
Yeah, I remember seeing you and Riz having a little chat, but at this point I was struggling just to get my arrows to stay in my quiver and strap it to my deeply hungover body. So,
Yeah.
yeah, other focuses.
But my gosh, the Saturday battle. What a battle!
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know what it has been this year, but my god, the battles for Black Scar in particular have been exceptional.
Mm,
I have never been so excited for fights as I have been these ones. Honestly, highlights of my weekend. And
yeah, and we do want you to go into I say we, it's me, Matty, and I assume the people listening, because Matty and I, as archers, we didn't spend much time with. Because at
oh
E2
my
we orbited
god,
you, but E3 we went off pretty much solo. So I know the spicy thing that I'll let you talk about, but I have no idea
what?
what it was like for the actual
Guys
field.
oh my god. Well, Jotun are heavily armored bastards for a start. So, rocking up the field, we were supposed to be on the right of the Imperial Orcs, which we were at the start, and there's a very exceptional shot from Oliver Facey
Mm,
of the line stretching out. Beautiful. Anyway, I can summarize the field pretty quickly. Utter chaos, but with the Imperials in the lead.
chaos beyond a usual battle.
I wouldn't say beyond the usual battle, but more that we weren't sticking together. The Imperial Orcs were somewhere else, and it was just slaughter. It was just pure fighting. It wasn't like the Jotun one where we were stepping over them and just Druge Druge bodies falling behind us. Because it's Jotun, it was a lot more kind of line fights and having to put some effort into putting them down.
Mm,
But we were putting them down. That was good. So before this, Jockle, one of the Black Star lot, we were missing Tadpole this event, so I had told him beforehand that he had to fill in for him as well.
ooh,
Fight with
perfect.
the strength of two men. He fought with the strength of four. I don't know what Keelan was on this event, but it was something. It was quite something. There was a lot of energy put into these fights. And
There's some really
yeah,
good photos of him. He's at the front every time,
yeah,
swinging
he
away.
absolutely nailed it, and I was there behind him, kind of giving him encouragement. But my God, did he fill in the gap of Tadpole plus?
Mm,
It was really good. He did get a testimony for that. I'm not going to go into what that was, but you get one. Yeah, just it's pretty normal for a field battle. It was when it got into the woods that I'd say it got interesting. So
Yep.
we regrouped with the orcs. We moved in. We moved into the left flank, where it's interesting that I can remember this in detail and not much of the rest of the event. Just a little side note there, because I'm now running through the entire battle, going, yeah, I remember what happened.
Oh, please do. We're here for the blow by blow.
So left flank. Black Scar and the Imperial Orcs are sent in to basically clear out the left flank.
Of the woods.
However, of the woods. However, as we get there, when I say left flank, I mean like the immediate left as you go through the gate into the woods.
Into that
Um,
nasty bit of like sort of the really small trees and
yeah,
difficult
yeah,
terrain.
yeah. And we get through that bit for quite easily. And then just as we're starting to get into the fight there, we see a set of Jotun Orcs basically respawning. So within Black Scar, there's a couple of strategies that use our two formations. So we have Star and Talon, and for the most part, Star are at the front with the shields taking the front of it. Talon are at the behind with the spears over the shields or around the side with the flankers. Now, at this point, Star and Talon had to break off to fight two different lines. And Farron is part of Talon, being an Ambi. However, does kind of act as an individual scout for both Riz, Big Boss Lothy. I probably have more agency than I should, but no one really cares because I know what I'm doing, or they think I know what I'm doing, and
Hmm.
that's the main thing.
Well, if you look like you know what you're doing, and they think you know what you're doing, and you think you know what
And
you're doing.
as an ambi, I am less useful behind or within a line. I'm there to basically make do, and the rest of it, I'm doing a lot of scouting and a lot of observation of the battlefield to get that information to the people to call the orders, and
Very
that's kind
vigilant
of
of you.
what I just autonomously do. Yeah,
Mm.
call it what you want. That's what I do. But it ended up with Lothy yelling to me, "Can you go get Rizart? We need numbers." And then I get to Rizart, and he says, "We need Lothy. We need you over here." And it's like
We are
we
at
are outnumbered.
loggerheads. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Talon, which is Big Boss Lothy, and the rest of them, did get slightly more supported by a few. So that line was more supported. Meanwhile, Star got cut down to shit, and we had people on the floor. It was not looking good. I was yelling back and forth. It really didn't look good. We weren't gonna leave them. But it was a case of deciding, right, this is the push, this is the push. At that perfect moment, the Dread Shields rocked up and helped us out. The
Real
tag team shields.
interesting. All right, I've got some salt with the dread shields after that battle. That
Oh,
good that
we
they've
we
showed up.
still have some salt with them, but for this moment, they turned up at the right moment and did the thing. So
Solid.
no qualms there.
All right, fair.
We had sent a runner, and it was the Dread Shields that answered the call. Gondor called for aid, and Rohan turned up.
Ooh,
It was
okay.
good. So yeah, an exceptional push from myself and the Dread Shields. Not to toot my own horn, but it really was led by me and them to get the down back up and kill the rest of the own. Cool. That was first engagement within the woods. You said you wanted detailed, right?
Oh yeah, no, please tell me more. I'm sat here
So
sipping my
next
beer.
we keep pushing around that, and we're standing at a point where we expect the Jotun to reinforce at any moment. We can't see any Jotun, but we expect them to reinforce at any moment.
You're on the
The,
edge of the
the,
woods, and although you
on
can't
the edge
see
of the woods.
clearly into the fields beyond, you know the army's
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. Um, Lottie's chilling there. I sneakily head off and see a little discussion between a Brass Coast general, the Imperial Orc general, Raikana, I just, hop into that conversation. There's a little chat about we need to take that fort. We think that's where the ritual is happening. And I pipe up and say, yeah, Black Scar could do it.
Uh-oh. When your commanding officer
Knowing,
start giving you spicy
knowing
orders.
right well that this was the exact same fort that we had problems with at E1. And I'm not gonna lie, my call of Black Scar could do that was a slightly OC note of, come on, let's give it another shout, another stab. We can do it this time, surely.
Fort
Surely we can do it this time.
Fort Fight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Here we go.
So it became Fort Flight 2 Electric Boogaloo. So then go back to Lottie and I say, they want us to go here. It's going to be us and the Imperial Orcs. We're going to take that fort and we're going to sub out Urizen. And Lottie looked at me and went, do we have to? And you know, I said that we did, like a liar.
No, it's technically true. You haven't lied. You have been ordered to go and take the fort.
I technically made that order.
Yeah, but you've been ordered.
But we don't tell Big Lottie that.
We're
Because
just
Big Boss
following
is
orders.
actually in charge. Okay? Shh. Don't tell him that I subverted the whole thing in. Because we don't do that in Black Scar. But Farron did. Ooh. Anyway,
I can't believe you've done
so
this.
begins the the next slog. Because fort fights are slogs. Um Honestly, it was good. It was some good practice. It was some good experience. It was some good understanding that no one really understands how to take a fort. We were so close on so many opportunities, but we just didn't have the backup to do so. There was so many opportunities to take it, and people weren't exploiting those opportunities. We were fighting so hard to do so, just no avail. And that isn't a stab at the orcs. That isn't a stab at any member of Black Scar at all. That is purely a battlefield thing of separated groups and not a full understanding of kind of battlefield tactics of what we were trying to do.
Because it's
So
to maybe oversimplify it. There's three ways in. They're easy to defend. You've got to push all three simultaneously and successfully to crack it. Because
correct,
otherwise,
or
floating
just push
reinforcement.
one super hard,
Hmm.
which is what we were doing.
Okay.
The problem is that there's the one that you can push super hard. We get to the point where they were breaking, and rather than pushing that break, everyone was too tired, knackered, too injured. We'd have to pull out. That was the problem.
Gotcha.
We need a way of cycling in the fresh troops to push that exploit, but without having the numbers or the practice, we couldn't achieve so. Um, so it was tough. We we had one attempt to tip. We then tapped out for a little bit. We then had a second attempt to tip. We got to a third attempt, but we'll get to that later. It was confirmed that the person who needed to die, the person performing a ritual of sorts, was inside this fort. The other reason why we were doing it is because it was more important to the orcs to do so, right? The orcs wanted to witness. I believe the Jotun were basically performing one of these things that the Imperial Orcs do, which is to talk to their ancestors. Again,
Mm,
I'm not someone to really talk about that 6 weeks later. That was essentially why the orcs were involved and why we kind of pushed for it. It wasn't just me saying we should do it. There was more to it.
yeah.
But what happened next? We kind of pulled back because we couldn't take the fort. Okay. As we were pulling back, we were told that the league were going to push in. It was at this moment we realised that league don't. Oh, not going to call out an entire nation. My God,
No, do it.
whatever
Do
unit was there
it.
does not
The League.
understand what hold a gateway is, because we pulled out of the gate and we said, "Go on, go in then. You're holding the gate," and they went, We are holding 10 feet from the gate. Now, just a little tip, everybody. If you want to hold a gate, be in it, not 10 foot away from it. There you go. Top tip.
So the Farron's fighting. What's a word of knowledge beginning with F? Farron's fighting philosophies. Number one. If you're going to hold a gate, be in it.
Lindis spells philosophies with an F.
Yeah, that check. Hey, you know what? Fuck you. Let's move on from my lack of education at the academy, shall we?
So, we pulled back. The ritualist and their ritual team still remaining within the fort. We had a small discussion with the Brass Coast generals, speaking about trying to take that fort once more, and that they would back us up if we go in. In a moment of courage, belief, I'd say, ambition, Blackscar call a dash, a charge into that fort while it remained fairly unguarded. Essentially, most of the Jotun forces had pulled out the back and headed to a second front. Some of them had pulled across and were trying to keep the rest of the Navarre forces, Brass Coast forces engaged. But again, it was more like, a handful of Jotun orcs, keeping people busy by just spreading themselves out. So what did we do? We dashed into the middle of the fort and put down the fucking ritualists.
Oh, Dawn of War
The
style.
literally 50-meter dash into the fort, killed them. It was only Blackscar in that fort, and we went, right, so what now? And Lottie was like, right, we hold. And we all look to our left and see about, 50 plus orcs going, well, they've taken the fort, and then start marching our way. And we're going, Lottie. Some people are holding the fort, as we were told. We were waiting for the Brass Coast to back us up. We were waiting for any Imperials to back us up, but none came.
Literally anybody. No
No one came.
pre-requirement.
We were screaming across that 50-meter gap around the corner. Imperials, get the fuck here. Because that was the secondary objective. Black Skull at that point had just completed the secondary objective on their own for that main battle.
Mm.
We were screaming, yelling for backup because we just essentially run the opposite side of enemy lines and we're asking for some help to get back. But no one comes because I don't know why, but there's a lot of
A lot of
let's say a
questions to
lot
be
of
asked.
Imperial heroes require a lot of encouragement in order to risk oneself.
Mm.
And it's not necessarily that Blackscar are happy to. It's not a. I think we have a better understanding of what risk is, and that if we're all going together, there's a much less chance of failure.
Yeah.
So I can understand the point of view of why would you want to charge into battle for some people you don't know, but it would also be nice that we as Navari fighters know that others have our backs. Clearly not the case right here.
No. I think A,
We
Blackscar's
were left.
cohesion makes it a stronger unit, but B, it feels like we're a lot more willing to get closer to death, like be downed in a push, and we fully rely on our physics to pick us up. But we will
And
also be there on the floor
go
rather than
down we
hiding.
did.
Well, yeah.
To the point where a Cheez It call was made. For reference, Cheez It is everything's broken down, get the fuck out of here, every man for himself. That is what that call literally means.
Mm.
So I booked it because even in chain, I'm a quick sod. Speedy little thorn, straight back to the line. But at this point, I am emotionally distraught because the Empire have left me. I'm not going to get into many details, but this is a very much a stickling point for Farron. So I thought I'd got over that in therapy, and this is proof elsewhere. So I'm on the edge of tears at this point, screaming at people to go and help me get my friends back, and they're looking at me like nothing. Um, we understand. I purely understand. Generals are not there to issue orders. They're not there to lead on the battlefield. I purely was asking thorn to thorn that this was the case. Blythe had given up at this point and just started yelling, "Your general is talking. Listen to him." I was like, "No, we don't need that. I just need help. We need to get them back." People weren't. Georg was though. So I was talking to Georg prior with a flower, Voice of Thorns. You all know him in Navarre. You probably know him elsewhere. Excellent person. I was like, look, I really need you to encourage some people to get us back because there's a bunch of Black Scar down in that fort after completing the objective. We need to get them back. I
Yeah.
think I said it in a lot more distraught terms. There's probably a few more expletives.
Mm.
Um, but
Bit more spittle and blood and waving of
yeah,
hands.
there's a lot of blood. Um, the banner had gone down.
Oh,
I
the
had
colours, damn it.
no idea. I didn't see anyone else at this point other than Blythe. It was me and Blythe just screaming, like, we need to get him back. For all I know, the rest of Black Scar are just TPK'd in a fort. um, but finally, it felt like forever, but it can't have been because of bleed counts and other such things. We went back in for round. I guess it's round 4
Yeah,
of the
it's round
fort.
4. I'll be keeping a tally. Yep.
Yeah, it's round 4, but it was like the third proper push. Most of Black Scar have regrouped, other than the ones that are down. Ones that are down. Ferret was down. Drainog was down.
Mm.
I think a couple of the other healers had gone down. Ferret and the other healers had managed to basically bum cheese their way out of there using potions and sneaky tactics and whatnot. But Ferret, who was the banner bearer, had left the banner within the fort.
We
He'd
genuinely
lost.
need to string him. Well, not string him up, but he needs to be put on a very biased and unfair trial and be tried for his crimes, abandoning the colours.
Yeah. So we'll get to the actual storyline later, but we push up to the fort. We push into the fort for one last time, confirm the death, or confirm the dead ritualists. I then hear a bang go off uh, to
Yeah.
my right,
Yep.
about 50 meters away, and I went, "Hi God, hi God."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I was informed that no, that was just the fuse, and we need to get out of here. So then began the steady retreat, which it actually was a steady retreat for once. Out the gate, out onto the field, after a very knackering fight, down the field to the gate, extremely successfully. 12 bombs placed, and an entire mountain top destroyed, as well as
Mm.
a valley crashed into. But as we leave, I'm not happy. Entire fight. I'm traumatized. The Empire left us once again. Number of other things that had happened in that fight, and to be fair, I wasn't sure if we'd got everyone back yet. In fact, I was pretty confident we were missing someone. And we were. So back to camp, just to confirm with everyone. We had, in fact, lost a member of Black Scar, the oldest veteran from Leathaven, one Drainog, who I spoke to perhaps in a past life, perhaps in a dream, perhaps just post event to see what the hell happened. And apparently, he was about to turn and run when the Jotun 50 turned up. But seeing the rest like running away, not going to make it, he turned to face them for one
Oh, cool.
last stand. Spear in hand, just slowed them down that final few moments as he got cut down.
Oh, that is epic.
The final stand, yeah, exceptional. Um, and I come back to camp to find someone's testimony. No, hallowed his drum, Draenog's dirge.
It's not my
Was that
finest
you?
naming. Yeah, I mean, as we've established my ability to read, and I know that a dirge is maybe not quite the sound that a drum can make, but I didn't want to make it Draenog's drum because that just sounded like, the kind of label you get in primary school of like this drum belongs to Draenog. Please do not take it. No, it went for Draenog's dirge, and it was hallowed to pride.
I think hearing about the death is a suitable virtue. Very very much proud of his ancestry and his territory of the Atherton. Quite happy to lay their life down as a thorn, save the rest. OC, exceptional battle. IC, also an exceptional battle. My god, so much emotion. Brilliant. That's what we want. I was genuinely in tears to the point where post battle I had to have a little bit of a cry rant at Talus because he was the only one who'd listen.
Mm.
Beautiful. One of the best RP moments I think I've ever had.
Oh man, yeah,
And
Talus got
Talus
really good
did
RP.
something exceptional later. But yeah, Talus has always had the great RP. There's a lovely weird bit of like backstory, or not even backstory, like just RP between him and Farron as longtime friends. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, love Ian too. But yeah, Alex and Farron get along well. So pretty deep RP. It's good when you
Mm.
get that.
Yeah, I've just pulled up the Hallow on Draenog's Dirge. It's you feel driven to convert others, which wasn't the main reason I picked it. It was actually the second part, which was, and you also feel certain that you should embrace your traditions and ideals. So I guess, Draenog really going down with a firm middle finger to the Jotun, as at
Yep,
least
who are still
partially
in
on
his
brand.
home.
They are still there, sharing it with the local wildlife.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely some MC bits. I'm pretty sure I brought up half that fight in MC. Um, Lots of people getting commendations. The Orcs gave Black Scar commendations once again, making that our 5th season in a row for commendations in Military Council,
Very
which
solid.
is pretty good going,
Mm.
I'd say.
It's good thing to put on the advert.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and MC for the rest of that. Trying to think what else happened. I know. I think at that point we get to a little bit more of like a chill time, a little bit of tarot reading
Mm.
at the Smoky Hole, which I'm not going to go into details with, but because Farron never got it purposefully, um, don't need to see that. But then we got on to a little bit of a discussion with a man named Tillian
We did
from Wintermark,
indeed.
sat in the Drunken Goose in Navarre.
An outstanding establishment.
Very good establishment. I've heard they were really good in a particular glade that was fairly quiet in
Mm.
Thrun
Mm.
um, a few, summers ago. Um, but now we're sat at one of the tables with a bunch of wasps because there were so many wasps this event.
There were a lot of wasps. It was probably some kind of Druge tactic, wasn't it? Upset the
Yeah,
heroes of Anvil, just deploy a load of fucking wasps
I think so.
everywhere.
We were
Fairly
sat at
reasonable.
a table, myself, Rizart, Play, Isa, yourself, Killian, to discuss a little dispute that you'd had the previous event.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's any details you want to share, or how much you want to share, or how much is redacted.
So I can share the background because I've definitely talked about it before. So Gwen Splinter Spear attempted assassination by Redacted in the Grapevine. Tillian got in the way. Got in the way of my bodyguarding duties, so I cut his belly in twain. I cleaved his belly button right off. He was not best pleased, and that began a feud. Everyone, apart from me, was pretty sick of this feud. So I had Rizart, no longer senator, but now General Rizart, come up to me when I was just in camp, just sorting some stuff out, going, I need you to come with me. So he brings me along to the tent. Of course, you're all there, as you described. We sit down. And at this point, Tillian and I finally get to meet eye to eye after the event of the Grapevine. And long story short, it was actually quite friendly. I think from what I had heard of his opinion versus the first-hand account he gave me in the bar, those two things were very different. And what I heard in the bar was actually pretty decent, and I could maybe not respect but understand. And it started off on a good foot. We managed to talk about Redacted and agreed to Redacted about Redacted. And as a way of cementing our new course of action, to
Well,
liberate
before that,
Redacted.
you want I think you'd be remiss without talking about the exceptional play by Clay.
Oh, yeah, God damn it. Yeah. So everyone, dear listeners, was very keen for this to work out. And they know that Lindia isn't the threat here, but Chris is. Chris is the agent of chaos right here, right now. And unfortunately, his puppeteer hands are very much in control of Lindia. So to mitigate this, there's at least two attempts, unless I'm forgetting otherwise, to make him more stable. The first is by dear Isa, Matty. Previous episodes, you've probably heard of her. Um, Took me out back and spent like what felt like fucking hours, but it was probably like 3 minutes, um, testimonying me testimonying or giving me a testimony.
Anointing.
Anointing. Thank you. See, English
Wrong
or
one.
even the rules of the Empire LARP system evade me at 20 past 11 at night on a Tuesday with some beer in me. But anyway, thank you. I'm getting anointed to pride, I think. And it doesn't quite make sense because if I'm sticking to my guns anyway, giving me religious crack cocaine to reinforce that seems like a bad idea. But whatever. I listened to it and I was like, sure, whatever. In my head, I decided how it was going down already, and we sit down. And the reason I understand how it's going down already is because Melvin, playing Lou Taru of the oh, he's not Thornhollow anymore. He's
Winter's
Winter's
Reach.
Reach. Winter's Reach. Decides to slot a cheeky little enchanted item over my neck, bind me to it, which immediately delivers a role-playing effect of being chilled out, more agreeable. And I read the ribbon, I look him dead in the eye, and like, you little bastard, he's got me. He's got me good. Where essentially in that single move, he guarantees the success of these negotiations. Negotiations go well, we become friends, or at least, compatriots in a common goal. And then we seal the deal with
A Navari tradition.
a very new but ancient and mystical tradition of the friendship cucumber. So
Friendship cube.
it's something that must be noted here officially, so as people aren't too weirded out when they see it in field, that I like to eat fruit and vegetables. But I'm not sat there having a punnet of strawberries or perhaps an apple or maybe some carrot sticks and hummus. Now I'm eating a pepper, a bell pepper raw, like an apple, and also munching down on a cucumber. So when I arrive, I've got this entire, sort of, I don't know, foot long cucumber, and I just start eating it. And on one hand, it's a delightful way to rehydrate and it's a tasty, healthy snack. But on the other hand, it's so distracting, I find it's actually quite a good negotiation crutch because nobody can concentrate when the person you're talking to is sticking a foot long cucumber in their mouth and munching away, having a great time. It's very unsettling, if not unusual. And it worked in this instance because we used it to seal the deal, where I put it in my mouth, Tillian put it in his, the other end of it, of course, and we simultaneously took a bite from this cucumber and became formal friends. Great round of
Friendship
applause.
not a virtue.
It's not a virtue,
but
no, but it is useful.
cucumber is.
Yeah, yeah, the 10th virtue in this case of cumber.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of redacted stuff there, but basically Tillian, very powerful person, is going to hopefully enable us to deliver some justice across the wider empire.
It, and we invited him for a drink later, which I don't know if you've heard about or not yet, but it was absolutely
No, no,
hysterical.
we've not covered that either.
Oh, we'll get to that then.
Mm.
So other things that happened this evening or on Saturday. Indra, bunch of thorns turned up for the Inquisition. Absolutely fucking incredible. Well done, everybody who showed up. Made such a noise, did the right thing. Love you all. Who else was there? Well, there was a little man called Elwyn who was rocking about on behalf of Travid, talking about a skirmish for the Great Forest Orcs, discussing with me the fact that, was looking for numbers, and I said, have you got someone to lead it yet? He said no, so I said Lindir wants to lead it.
This is the second time
He
you've
came
been giving out orders, right? This event, without maybe the backing of the people, um, people, people responsible for delivering them.
and
But I'm not
I'm
complaining.
sorry, have I got a miss yet? Yeah, was
No,
there anything
no.
wrong with this? Did
Don't
you not
use
want me to
evidence,
do
all
this?
right? Don't use data to back up your argument.
So we come and find you, who I think you were there anyway.
I
So
was,
we
yeah,
come and
I
find you
was
there.
tossing around with the whole champion of vigilance stuff.
Oh my god, we completely skipped over that, but I'm
Oh,
sure
we,
you
we
covered
covered it.
that.
Oh, we did cover that.
Yeah. So yeah, come find you and say, oh yeah, Elwyn wants you to lead the skirmish at X o'clock for going saving the Great Forest Orcs.
9:30.
Which
Yeah.
are we gonna can we quote the Empire Wiki now?
Yeah, we can actually.
Success.
It was a success. The Druge were defeated. It doesn't say killed like it does in the other after action reports, because we did leave a fair few of them alive on the pitch. However, we did kill off all the heralds and we beat them back pretty convincingly. We did kill a good bunch of them. But
There's
the
another skirmish.
elders. Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, no. Go for the elders. Go for a quick wrap up of that. I was zooming on to a different thing.
Oh yeah, classic quick thorn action. But basically, success, and the elders of Paytat from the Grace Forest Orcs were saved, and that has been absolutely critical in the Winds of Fortune for E4 coming up in 2 days. So technically one in 35 minutes, but yeah, that has been critical for establishing our relationship with them, keeping them in the game, and potentially getting some allies in the Barons in the future, or
Ooh.
the Vari Orcs, both as
Ooh.
playable characters. So
Ooh.
yeah, some far-reaching plot as a result of that
Yeah.
skirmish. Very
You heard it
satisfying
here
to get it right.
first, people. Lindir Thornheart, champion of vigilance.
Freshly minted, no less.
There's another skirmish. So Blackscar didn't join you for that one. Well, half of Blackscar did because of a little situation that happened with this Varushka skirmish. We were hired as Blackscar for a skirmish for Varushka. Kill some Surrey Heralds, I think. TM?
Yeah,
Six weeks
yeah, that's
ago,
what
who
I've heard.
knows?
Yeah.
Probably. We, it was a bit of a. We were kind of hired by Imperial Spymaster, Empire's protagonist, Whitecap Bernard Dugdale,
Mm,
on behalf of Rishka. Like, we were given the big ups by him because we get shit done. And we were part of the plan. So the plan was send a group of. Sends the guy who's got mass weakness cast on him to mass weakness the Herald's Black Scar clear up. And we're a big deal. Apart from when we got there, we were put at the back of the line. I turned to Lothy and go, got to go and tell him it's either all of us or none of us. Putting us at the back of the line does not mean that. And Lothy's like, do I have to? I go, yeah.
yes.
You got to. You've got to do this because we're useless as individuals. We fight as a unit. That's the whole point. So he goes up,
Whoa, you lot are
tells him,
useless.
we're not talking about Lindir Thornheart here with one arrow and like
Mm. One arrow and a dream and the urge to kill.
exactly. But he goes up and he has a little quick discussion with the leader from Varushka. The guy goes, "All right, Varushka, I need a handful of you to step aside and go to the back, or I move the entirety of Black Scar to the front. Now, what's it going to be? No one steps aside, so we get put to the front. Now we're all going, shit. We now actually have to show that we're actually good at this. Which, of course, we are, but there's a little bit more pressure on it now.
Mm.
So we've just been moved to the front. You hear the groans at the back as we pushed onto their
Oh, there was
skirmish.
so much salt. I won't say.
Really,
Yeah,
we have been hired for this, and there's
yeah.
a reason why. Um, so we're all at the front going, "Whoa, we've actually now got to pull this off." And like, okay, citizens, I don't know if you know who we are. I don't know if you've ever seen any of Black Scar, but for the most part, there's quite a few of us who don't really look like we're one of the elite fighters in the Empire. Let's face it, we're a bunch of chumps. Just the fact that we fight together, well, that we actually end up doing well at the whole thing, who
Yeah,
knows?
apes
It's an
together
enigma.
strong.
Yeah, exactly. It's the whole point, but we honestly just look like a bunch of reprobates from Navarre. It's great. So we go in first. Marching onto the field, there's about half of us, because half of us have already stepped out because of the whole numbers situation. Gone to join you, Linda. We're heading in. We see them all the way up the field. It's Druge and the Surrey Heralds. March up. Mass weakness is deployed. Black Scar clear up to the point where the people at the back of the risk skirmish going, "Where are all the heralds?" And we go, "We got them." They went, "I didn't see a single one." We go, "We know."
They're just dead.
We then
There's the
spend the
body.
next like 15 minutes because the Druge keep running away, basically having sprinting matches against the Druge. There was even one point where we get back towards the gate and then run out again to try and clear them up. But honestly, it was such a joy seeing the smiles on the Varushkan's face as they started to get the whole ideal of what we were doing,
Mm.
and like they started to form cohesive kind of blobs and things. They were just having a great time. The leaders loved it. I, you know, on the walk back, one of the guy like second in command was talking like, "Can we hire you again? You know, can we put you at the front again?" Oh, it's such a good feeling. So, fair to say, it went very well. Um,
Do
and
you
then yeah,
reckon? Oh, sorry. Go on.
just hearing the discussion post, because obviously some people did bounce, and that was the whole point why we said,
All or
because we
nothing.
don't want any of us bouncing, because otherwise we're not effective. Some people did bounce. It's shit. I get that, but real good RP moments for us for the fact of coming back through. The guy go, "Oh, well, why did you let us on?" And then basically the two leaders just trying to chat and go, "You don't even know, bro. Like these guys, these are insane. I don't know what to say, but
I love
you've
that
got
line.
nothing on these." It really no, but that's how they were talking. It was
Yeah.
hysterical. It was
And
just it was beautiful,
you
beautiful to
you come
hear.
back, you're saying, Captain, you got some legitimate salt with them, and the captain's
Yeah,
like, this serious Varushkan warden is going,
yeah. You
you
don't
just
even know,
don't
bro.
know, bro.
It really was. It was incredible.
Yeah, I've heard lots of good things. The smiles on your faces as a unit, because we were, I've got this highlighted in green actually to actually talk about the Great Forest Walk skirmish this time round, because I didn't
Yeah.
talk about it in the last episode. Maybe deliberately to keep it nice and spicy for this time, some actual Chris content. But
Wow.
not that I'm not enjoying the soul content, but I want to be part of this, bro. I want to be there, bro. But anyway, the smiles on your faces were incredible, like genuine
It was
joy.
the fact that we were a little stressed beforehand, then the fact it went so well, and then the praises that we got, because literally everyone on that skirmish was like, "Good job." and it's nice to be, I guess, praisable. So
Hmm.
you know, it kind of confirms things that we're somewhat conscious about, because obviously Black Scar has always had the image of um an effective warband. There's a lot of past of like the merc stuff, and this is like the first year we're actually merking again and like trying it properly and putting some effort into doing so. And it's nice to kind of get that feedback that we do know what we're doing,
Hmm.
because as I said, we're all just chumps, um, but we do get stuff done.
Yeah, and we're keeping that competitive edge because, we've been doing the cohesion stuff for years, but it seems like other groups and empires still are struggling to get that right. And let's be fair to them, you get 12 days a year to play Empire. It's not a lot of time to drill, but the extra time
We
we're
don't
putting in before the event starts, just a couple of
Yeah,
hours,
we
it's
we
having a
don't
huge
drill
impact.
much more, but the fact that we do just do a little bit of drill, and probably I mean, look, I mean, let's face it, for morale purposes, a lot of us are now quite good friends
Mm,
outside of the game.
yeah,
Um, yeah, quite happy to stick up for your mates, right? And it's mates through LARP rather than outside, so it's a lot more time for it. I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons, but
mm,
all we know is we're doing the right thing because everything's going well and we're really enjoying it. So if
yeah, and I
you
think
want Black Star, come
Ring a
chat.
ding ding. Yeah, come and talk to their representative, Lindia Thornhart, at MC at 8 o'clock on Friday. Bring a bag of 40 thrones, and you too can have successful skirmishes.
Or just Farron and you can have us for free just
No.
because I'm a chump.
Just, yeah, give the bag of 40 thrones to me regardless, and then talk to Farron. But
Yeah.
I think from the paraphrasing of what I heard is, you go in and you fuck up Surah Heralds, which are typically hardcore sons of bitches.
Yeah, there were like 8 of them. Mass Weakness did a thing, and
Oh,
then Black
fuck.
Scar did a
8 is a
thing.
lot,
It
though. Holy shit.
was 8 of them, Mass Weakness, Black Scar, and it was done in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
It was beautiful.
because,
You've also got to remember previous, what was it, E1, where we did the skirmish for Bernie, where there was the Surrey Heralds at the Reggio, and
oh, yeah,
they were
that
supposed to have a
was,
mass weakness, and we just did it
yeah, mass
without the mass
weakness,
weakness.
I mean, yeah, we just rip and tear. The Heralds were backing off from us, and now these things are like, 30 hit points, full plate, immune to
It's
impale and stuff, and we
Do
just
you not find
beat
it
them
hard to
down.
basically say that we are good? This,
Oh,
because I
we
find
are
it
good.
really like we are, but I find it really like we actually say this, but I guess we can. We've now proven it.
We've really earned it. It's not just marketing anymore. And as an OC, person who works in sales, I'm used to making claims that, whilst are true, they're perhaps optimistic, right? But no, we've got some hard evidence that even the most nervous or cautious person can confidently say that Black Scar is a tier 1 military unit.
Yeah,
But yeah, my point was going to be that at E4 we've got something called Cold Sun, a very dangerous new day eternal deploying some pretty chunky heralds across the Empire who
I
are
know.
causing mayhem.
I've been fighting them between events.
Yeah, we are probably one of the best place units to actually tackle them because of our experience tackling other chunky heralds like Surut ones and the
Oh yeah.
success record of dealing with them rather than being ad hoc.
Hmm.
But I did not know there was 8 on there because I thought there's a
Yeah.
decent chunk of them on my one, which is directly after yours, which we'll get onto into a moment. But we only had 4, and they were tough. They were really, really tough.
No, they were right.
Fuck. All right, mass weakness, 10 out of 10.
The way.
Yep.
So, anything to do with your skirmish?
Yeah, actually, I've got a whole bit. So you very kindly put me in a position to actually lead a skirmish, which OC I've wanted to do for so long, but I've been too busy committing crimes. I've often ended up in like sergeant positions and stuff like that, or leading small units of Black Scar on skirmishes like at at E2. However, it was very different to be the formal owner. I was co-captaining this with a Thorn called, I'm going to nickname Red. I can't remember their actual name, but they have like kind of like red leather armor, so they're pretty recognizable. They're, to be fair to them, I kind of crashed the show a little bit because they'd done all the footwork of getting, people signed up, taking numbers, knowing where we were going, taking actual notes. But I feel like we got past that pretty quickly by saying, "Hey, look, I'm a very experienced fighter. I know how to command people. You're relatively new as a player and as a captain, so we're going to co-captain this. Your job is the glorious charge and the winning part. My job is going to be mitigating the losing part." And that worked exceptionally well. It was really, really
I'm
solid.
I'm so glad to hear you did do the co-captaining because I was like mildly aware, but also conscious of the fact that Empire requires hard skill, and without knowing how important this skirmish was, for the sake of there's a
Like
lot of
what,
plot
2 years
designing
of
on it.
GFO orcs? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Um, I kind, I was somewhat aware that Red, who has done an exceptional job. I'm not questioning your ability. I just don't know. Um, was the reason why I kind of put you forward. But I'm also so glad to hear that you kept him in a very much a position that he had deserved, or they had deserved. Um,
yeah, yeah. Red had put the legwork in, and that's exactly the right attitude. If dear listeners, you want to succeed in, I mean, frankly, anything in life, but especially military game at Empire LARP, put some legwork in, take the initiative, and you'll get it. So Red had
yeah,
put the effort in, and so everyone thought, well, Red's, we're just going to assume Red's in charge. And definitely the OC felt, icy. I was like, I'm very dedicated to Pride. I'm the right person for this. My longbow says so because it's hallowed to Pride as well. So you can hear me in the corner stroking, going, "What's that, Betsy?
yeah.
Yes,
This
I'm in charge now."
as I'm trying to emphasize, this really isn't anything against you, Red, at all. Um, Love to see more of this from you in future. I'm sure you're going to be an exceptional Thorn. Please come talk to us. We'll love to have a chat. All of that. Keep it up. Good stuff. Do
Yeah,
do the good thing.
it was really, I mean, the fact it succeeded was because of that legwork being put in, and he
Yeah,
was able to transfer those notes to me, and then I was able to act on it, get stuff set up, and get things organized. When I say organized, it wasn't telling people if you could or couldn't come, but it's like, right, you lot stand here, you lot form column, you lot march, you lot attack.
yeah,
It helped me engage with the authority you need to lead a successful skirmish. But it was really tense. There's loads of faff that goes into skirmishes, so all of you haven't done one before. I basically it's a 9:30 skirmish, and I was prepping from 8:30. So we met at 8:45 with all the thorns to meet the actual NPC that would show up at 9 o'clock. Then get
yep,
down to the gate for 9:30, which means you have to get down there for 9:15, so you're properly organised and ranked up and counted and everything. So it's basically an hour's prep just for a 20-minute skirmish. But in all the preparation does save lives, so that's I'm not knocking it. But it was really tense because there was loads of pressure from Travis to get it sorted. Obviously, the relationship side of things and managing that with Red because I don't want to rain on his parade. And we've got a few groups who wanted to come, and of course, there's people who arrive at the gate and they want to take part. You've got to tell people they can't jump on. We had a thing with the vines where I thought I had given them 10 slots. And they said, "Oh, where do you want us?" I said, "There," kind of, maybe the front between sort of the 20 and 30th percentiles of the queue. But then they brought 20 people instead of 10. I didn't realize so that had a big knock-on effect of other units not getting in, like Dawn. IC, fuck Dawn, OC, sorry. But it was a real cat herding exercise and very, very difficult.
yeah,
So that's all before we even get on the fucking field. Going against Druge, which Navarre can actually struggle against on Anvil skirmishes because, like you said earlier, they can take some encouragement to get stuck in as heroes, right? But when
yeah,
the Druge in literally, threes and fours will run behind them and it will paralyze a unit of 20. So my big brain tactical plan here, blob, form one big Giga unit, pick something, walk towards it and kill it, rinse and repeat. And that worked exceptionally well.
That's pretty good for just handling that whole paralysis situation. Yeah,
Paralysis
good
situation.
job. As in
Oh, sorry, I was
the
just like, who had paralyzed kills? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The confidence pilot.
analysis paralysis or confidence paralysis situation.
Yeah, of like, what do
No.
we do? What do we do? Well, the answer is follow me, walk forwards. We're going to go and kill something. That something was the Heralds of Surut,
So
and
that is the one thing I think Black Scar have. It's not even necessarily a confidence. It's an understanding that whatever you do, you're being told what to do by the big boss. And the fact that you don't actually have to make a decision because the big boss is telling you what to do is what I think gets over that whole confidence thing, right?
mm, we understand the commander's intent. We understand the
Yes.
objective, and even if he wasn't giving orders, even if Lothy wasn't giving orders, then
Yeah.
we could still execute on the plan because we
Yeah.
know roughly walk forwards, kill thing, rescue GFO,
It's a
leave.
fact you know what your left and right person and the leader is doing as much as, just your own confidence. Uh,
Yeah, and if the plan gets knocked, we get flanked to something. You turn around, you kill them, and then you get back on mission.
yeah.
Nice and simple in terms of the thought process. And then because you got your
Yeah.
friends with you, it's so much easier to do because killing orcs with friends is easy. Killing
Yeah.
orcs alone is hard. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You
we
gotta train to a small point where you're not even thinking about what you're doing. It's just like almost set for nature.
mm, yeah, it's
Kill orc.
oh sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, kill orc.
Oh yeah, definitely kill orc because
Death to the Druge.
yeah, death to the Druge, it is virtuous. I agree.
He is virtuous.
Yeah,
Shh.
vigilant.tm. So yeah, the I guess one thing on
Shuts
prep
up on the
was
tongue.
what I really enjoyed was doing this whole encouraging the troops thing.
Well,
Went
you
to
are
went.
such a good color sergeant at E1,
Oh
so
man, I fucking loved it. So like, I had big cadets unit at school. It was a very military focused school.
mm,
So I've done like lots of that kind of training when I was a child, and then yeah, some other stuff as well after I grew up, and then be able to apply that in Empire was so fucking satisfying because it was just the simple things like walking around, knowing people's names, going, all right, what's your name? All right, you ready to kill? Good, I'm watching you. Move on, and just giving everyone personal agency to deliver on the mission. And I was walking up to people going 3 bullet points, what are we doing? And they'd go, and I was like, don't worry, you got this. Tell me. And they'd say, kill Druge. Like, yep, correct. Save orcs. Yep. Don't die. Sure. Good. You another 3 bullet points. And then you do it with like a group of friends, 5 of them. And then, the fifth one obviously just goes bum 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 of making stuff up like, don't trip over, watch out for yellow snow, that kind of shit. It makes them start thinking and getting a bit more cerebral about the actual fight they're going to have. And
mm,
because I was watching, so if you are listening, I was watching you because I was watching everyone on that skirmish. I did see the people I talked to standing out. They were the ones who, when I said things like, you lot push that, push those orcs back into the woods or whatever, they were the ones
yeah.
stepping forwards first. So something got more comments about that later on as we get to the end of Sunday, but very important to set up for this skirmish.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Something pretty cool that I still haven't done now, but I've got tomorrow to do it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But just to end the Chris section, the actual skirmish, you advance on the field, immediately get flanked by a larger unit of Druge. I'm like, fuck. Because I've got Thornfang. Shout out to Thornfang
Mm,
as a tactical blob, outstanding. Because we just had main blob, and then I was like, Thornfang are competent enough because pretty much all of them were there. Use them as the right hook, Schlieffenplan style, and whatever's coming at my flank, use Formfang to knock the 10 shades of shite out of it. I immediately switched them on the left flank because I forgot the woods is on the left, not the right. Because we were there to look for the elders of the GFOs, and we couldn't see them anywhere when
Yeah,
we got in the
yeah,
field. So I was like, right, search the woods, and because they're competent enough, and I think this is what's nice for, for Rushka or the Imperial Orcs with Black Scar, give them an order, and they'll just go and get it done. You don't need to worry about it. I saw
yeah.
Thornfang trot off on their merry way into the woods, and I knew whatever was in there was dead.
Nice.
As they popped out the other end in line with the main line at the other end. It was really, maybe 100 meters or so. They kept pace. They didn't go out. They didn't get panicked. They killed the orcs in there, and then they didn't leave themselves out of position either. So really good command for them. Um, I got Red to lead like I don't know, like 20 or so people because we got hit by a big unit on the right. So he went off, clattered the fuck out of them, and I was kind of just left in the middle, holding this line. Drew's just pushing them up the field because they were running around a lot, and we had to basically form this very thin, flat line across the entire field and corner them right into the top because they were too fast. This is the 100, the Jimbro Giga shredded Uber orcs that are fighting all the skirmishes against the heroes. They're very tough to beat as players. So you basically got to corner them, kettle them, bonk them on the head with a stick. And that was the broad plan. But then the Heralds of Surut decide to crash the party in the center, and they're always terrifying, right? I know you
Yeah,
mass weakness yours and you stonked them, but I was sat there. I had, I think, 5 Black Scar with me as a personal bodyguard, and that was it. It's like I had like Torna and some of the ones who didn't go on the Varushkan skirmish. I think I had Cheeks. Yeah, I definitely had Cheeks from the Thornfang as kind of like a lieutenant because I know he was a really good
yeah.
in between. So shout out Cheeks. But otherwise, you've got a bunch of strangers there, and when you see Surut rock up, you're like, fuck, this is going to hurt. And I
Yeah.
realized, crap, this is my fault. I was like, well, what do we do? And I realized that's kind of your job, mate. Get on with it. So we just advance to contact. We don't charge because I don't know how I play. I don't know if you play it in your head, but like organizing a charge when you haven't got a charge word, like Bangarang used to be for Black Scar, is
It's
actually really
a it's a
hard.
nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do it.
you have like as maybe practical advice, pick a trigger point like that, a tree or a fallen log. When they reach there, we run at them, but then you've got to lead the way, and it's hard to get it accurate and precise. But anyway, we just advance to contact, and I think the only thing I can do with this herald is stop him hitting people while other people hit him. So I go up with I've got my big green and white shield, and I
Oh, yeah.
I go in. They start swinging away with the auto impaling weapons, and I just crouch and hide and cower behind my shield as it beats as it
Like a
beats on.
true leader.
Yeah, yeah, I sit there like a rock, getting smacked up, while everyone else pokes it with sticks, and it worked like a charm. Can honestly say, Surut Heralds countered by shields, 10 out of 10. At this point, Red has finished his flanking maneuver, so comes up the field, forms line. Thornfang have finished committing war crimes in the woods. We start kessling them, but then they break out. We form a tactical. It's not quite a tactical donut. It is a tactical oblong. And at this point, we have not seen any elders anywhere at all. So I'm chatting to Thornfang and I say, "Are you 100? Like, I'm not really questioning you because I know you're competent, but are you sure there was nothing in the woods?" They're like, "Yeah, absolutely," because it was unclear on the skirmish description if they were NPCs or not.
Yeah,
So in that scenario, I was like, right, let's double check. So I sent Finn in with literally a couple of runners, like, just check the woods, don't engage. I want you to see if there's anyone in there. There wasn't. So I thought, cool, we're done. We've killed the heralds. We physically cannot catch the Druge. What happened in the meantime is they were
yeah.
just
Same issue with us.
yeah, they
Couldn't
just
catch
formed
him.
a loose ring around us, and I said I because people were getting that paralysis again because we'd lost the momentum. I'd tap someone on the shoulder, go, "You pick 2 friends, kill that orc," and I would point specifically at one with like a bardiche or something. Move down the line. You pick 2 friends, kill that orc, and rinse and repeat. And then what happened is I can only describe as a lemming exodus, as this kind of like Mexican wave of Navarre kill squads. These little kill teams started running away from the tactical oblong and hunting down individual Druge. Some got away, some did not. Because any Druge who came back to help their mates, another three thorns just jumped on them and started bonking them. So that
Exceptional.
I can honestly suggest that as a tactic going forward. Pick two friends, kill an orc, worked really, really well. Then after that, we form a tactical crescent and start retreating across the field. And I think if I'm going to toot my own horn, this is the highlight of the skirmish before I shut up about it. Is we did a walking, fighting retreat over 150 meters of ground without once stopping. We lost cohesion with maybe four, five troopers during it
Mm-hmm.
as they killed an orc and then they backpedaled, double time, got in formation, and that was it. And all the orcs could do was just walk us off the field, but they couldn't attack us because we had the numbers. They couldn't get round us because of the crescent, and there was nothing they could do. And it was really, really solid. And we got out with no casualties. I thought I was a bit concerned about the mission success because we didn't kill all the orcs, but turns out that was unfounded because we did succeed. And it was in stark contrast to the 631 against Cold Sun, where nearly 20% of the skirmish was KIA, which is
Yeah.
absolutely savage. But overall, 10 out of 10 skirmish, especially with the win. Me and Red, there's a
Congrats.
blossoming bromance there for sure. And
And I hadn't heard of the details, so it's good to hear that it went so well.
yeah,
Congrats.
yeah, very simple. Walk up, walk down. But when you're there, and there's so much more detail, so
Yeah,
much more,
sure.
visceral, bloody terror and fear of failure. But yeah, we got him. In my best Barack Obama impression. But yeah,
Awesome.
after that, it was time for Gin Club, is what I've got on my notes,
I have, but what I'm going to suggest, if I may,
if you may.
a cheeky pause.
Ooh, okay,
I need a little break.
cool.
I
All
need a
right,
little trip to the bathroom.
I can acquiesce a
Uh,
pause. All right, we're back after a brief break. For the listeners, that will be, I think, maybe a second, if not less. That'll be very jarring, but for us, we're older, wiser, and drunker. So,
mm.
Gin Club.
So this is your first time at Gin
Oh,
Club,
I was
correct?
so excited. I'm smiling right now. I was so excited because I'd always been jealous of this fancy club. And finally, not only was I gonna go, but I was invited to go.
Well,
The
champion
indignant.
of vigilance
Oh,
should be coming along, surely.
yeah. It was the sort of the door, the bouncer, if you will, on the door, saying, who are you, basically. The result was like, well, I'm General for the Black Thorns. This is the champion of vigilance. Let us in. And he was like, okay. 4 crowns,
I
boom, done.
I called on Rizal at this event because I paid for him to go to Gin Club events before, so it was his turn to exchange the favour.
He has
For
a
those
habit of
of
running up
you
debt, doesn't he?
who don't know, if you're invited with a ticket, then you don't have to pay. Just some of us keep forgetting to request a ticket, so keep having to pay. But prosperity and all that.
Yeah, it is worth it. It's what, 4 crowns to get in, and you get 4 free drinks.
£4 for 4 free drinks.
It's really
It's
good.
perfectly fine. Good
Some
gin as well.
nice gin cocktails. Yeah. Oh God, they were good.
Good gin. Good and good vibes. Good people.
Mm,
It's a good time.
the movers and shakers.
Yeah. So what happened this time? It was your first event.
Yeah, what did happen?
Uh,
Oh God.
it was your first gin club. We did a very small tour. It's not that big, but it deserves a tour. But it was big enough. We kind of show you around and introduce you to some people. Grab a seat, and then wow, the rest is history.
Yeah, I've got some out of context quotes that I'm gonna drop.
Oh
Um,
really?
Snort it,
So
yellow boy, and add it to the tab. With the two outstanding quotes from our evening activities.
oh my god, really?
Yep.
See, so I was only I wasn't really that drunk. I was probably a little tipsy and um definitely not high, but it was probably my first proper time at Anvil, indulging in narcotics,
Mm.
and it was a time.
It was a good time, surely.
It was
Well,
a
hopefully.
really good time. You were well. It was being shared around.
Yep, it was being shared.
An
There was a bill being
entire
formed.
table. There was a tab being formed. It was quite an interesting experience. Obviously, alcohol has obviously helped anyway.
Mm.
But the fact that I'm being told by the role playing effect to find everything hilarious and giggle, and then mix that with something else that makes me very angry, was quite entertaining. It was a
Yeah,
real up and downer.
there was some. There was nearly a fight. Nearly a fight in.
Well, there was a lot of things. There was a lot of giggles. I'm not going to name any other names for the sake of their safety, just in case any militia officers are really looking
Well, there was no
to
crimes taking
to
place.
investigate.
The drugs from Axos were legal. Are legal.
Well, those ones
Oh, now you fucked us.
were. Legal drugs are being taken
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. Um. Anyway,
Mm.
it was actually really entertaining knowing knowing the fact that this is all costing a lot that I don't have, and just saying, put it on the tab,
You put
and
on
Farron's
Rizart's
going to have
tab.
to deal with that later.
Yeah, because Riz was like, I haven't got the cash on me. And I was like, do you want to start a tab? And he was like, yeah, yeah, sure, thanks. So obviously buying for his consumption. And then when you were chipping in,
Literally everyone else was just saying, put it
add it to the
on
tab.
the tab.
And his face when he realized what was going on, maybe like 30 minutes later, oh,
It, it,
priceless.
it was
MasterCard
the no,
advert.
no, 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 no. I am not paying for all of their. No, this no, Lindy. What the fuck?
Yeah, he was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, bro, it's a tab. You started a tab. It's on the tab. You shouldn't tell
Drugs are
people you're
being passed
starting a tab.
around now. One of our other fresh new members of Black Scar had taken something that had chilled them out, which really was killing the vibe.
Oh,
And
it
with
really changed the vibe.
with certain role play effects that some of us had, we weren't into that. We weren't digging that to the
Mm.
point where Linda and I looked at each other and went, we were just like, "This is it for this guy." Start asking around Gin Club, does anyone know Turn the Circle? Clay comes bursting through from the other round, goes, I know it. What for? And we go, him. And he goes, he's not dead yet. And I went, yet. Because we draw a knife and start taking him outside. Clay calms us down.
Because he was so passive, like, guys, come on, I don't want to get stabbed, but he was
Yeah.
coming with us. He was walking to his own doom. Oh,
If anyone has played Red Dead Redemption, I think this is the closest RP wise to that whole Lenny mission. It was
yep.
a pure like evening of hysterics and just small little scenes. Oh, it was beautiful. And I woke up the next morning with a very large tab that I owe Linda.
Mm.
Um,
Well, technically it's Rizart's tab, but I will be
Technically, it's results tab.
following through. We even got signatures on it, and one of them is just a drawing of, well, a caricature of Rizart going blah blah blah.
I even funnier. Tillian didn't partake in any drugs. I'm saying
No,
that
he
for
didn't.
legal reasons,
Yeah, no,
but
he genuinely didn't. Yeah.
he was here at the table experiencing this, which is just hysterical.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure you've gone into the whole him turning up at the Black Scar
Nope,
camp,
not
and
touched on it.
have you not?
Left it
You
for
didn't
this
touch it.
episode.
Oh my
No.
god! So just prior to this, Tillian had come up for that drink that I'd mentioned,
Mm.
and the first time he sits down around Black Scar camp, the first words he hears is "Time for the blooding." Um, and I've never seen a man so terrified. He was just clutching the chair he was sitting in. Yeah, there was a whole fun thing around that. It was like a whole cultural exchange. He wouldn't come into the woods without, you know, a Navari friend who he could trust just in case. And this whole thing really didn't help the situation. But
No.
he also joined us for Gin Club. I'm sure we made a good impression. I'm sure we did.
Oh, I think we did. The fact for him and Isa stood up and left shortly after the daggers came out, I'm sure that's not indicative of his opinion
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
us. I think he was, just going to the
I
toilet for 2.5 hours.
I would like to say that just RPing drugs
Oh, it
is
was so much
purely
fun.
purely what
Oh, dude.
it does something to you. You just RP it. You suddenly no longer care.
Yeah. You just lose
It's
that
beautiful.
social behavior shackle and bang. You know,
Yeah,
a
because
gin
I'm under an
helps.
RP effect.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
do
the
what you
gin
want.
helps
Oh,
for sure.
so
But
do we? Yeah, I'm going to say it because Lawrence committed no crime. So Lawrence was the chilled out one. He'd taken some of the Axos Blue and was coming up
right,
to you going, "Oh, hey, oh, Farron, you're so great. I really enjoy
I
hanging out with
literally
you."
told him to fuck off multiple times.
You were like tweaking, just don't
Just like,
touch me. And
don't
it's like,
touch me.
why? But just Lawrence is doing a great job of role playing that as well, and just watching that spontaneous drug-fueled murder plot generate in front of my eyes, and it was all
Yeah.
based on high quality RP. Absolutely
And
outstanding.
me and a Brasco's general, I'm just gonna say that. I think that's like anonymous enough. There are a
Not
few of
really.
them.
There's two.
Yeah, it's anonymous enough. Having having a great time,
Oh,
just
yeah.
giggling.
Mm.
They paid you right
They
at
did
the
pay
end of the
me for
night.
their personal consumption.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
It was
so
such a good evening. I had such a good time as always at Gin Club. Just, but
yeah.
amplified by the fact of this whole experience. On top of that, there were a bunch of tarot card readings. I had some great chats with some good friends of mine in the Empire. Because it's a great time to catch up with people who I don't really get to see like in game too often. There's a lot of
Mm.
people in other nations, there's a lot of other people who are busy. It's like the only time I ever really catch up with Riflin. Um,
Yeah, because
so
Riff,
yeah,
what a unit Riff is. He just turns up
yeah,
everywhere, and he's always welcome, well known. I genuinely think he's. Well, Riff's gone for Senator Fimiara and didn't get it this time, unfortunately. But there's a real dark horse of politics waiting to happen. I think real powerhouse,
definitely,
and also
definitely.
us. You know, apart from Battlefield RP, we don't spend that much time together in Anvil.
That is true, which could change next event if I'm
Mm,
just kicking about doing nothing, but I'm sure it won't,
yeah,
because I'll always find something. To be fair, even pre general stuff, we never really hung out. We just kind of get on. I don't know what I get up to, honestly. I'm always busy.
yeah. Because before with
Just
Ban, it was very crime focused, but now with Linda, it's different. Not quite the same. It's
yeah.
very
To
trade
to
focused.
be to be fair, Tadpole's back this event, so I might be busy.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking at my actual
Good fun.
schedule. I've got an hour free at
I don't.
5 o'clock Saturday,
All
7 o'clock Saturday, and then okay, to be fair, I've got from 9 until midnight on Saturday, but you know that'll be filled up with drinks or dr
right.
analyzing drama from earlier in the day, but otherwise it's entirely packed.
Yeah, I have no plan. So as always, and it tends to always be busy. So we'll see.
Mm, never a quiet anvil.
But yeah, I was looking forward to the next morning to find out how much I actually owed you,
Hmm.
which I think I can actually afford.
Yeah,
Just
I think it's. I totted it. Oh, you know what? I've left my phone somewhere else. It's not within arm's reach,
yeah,
but
it's fine.
it's like 4 or 5 thrones, so it's not the worst.
For the entire tab, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For what's left
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say no. For my stuff, it was like less than half that.
Oh yeah, for your
So
stuff, you're at one. You're at 1 6. You got no, you got 1 4 for that because it's mates rates. Then a
yeah,
couple others, so it's almost 2 thrones on the dot, I think, for you.
yeah, that's fine. You can have that.
Cool.
Maybe depends how friendly I'm thinking.
Suppose I'll just entice you with some more cat piss. You
It's
should
not
have.
addictive.
You should have
It's
seen.
addictive.
Something else is addictive, but you should have seen us in Honeypot Friday because what we had in Gin Club was a repeat of the Honeypot. But whilst we had some nice aggressive RP in Gin Club, the Honeypot was all chill vibes. It was just so chill. I put 5 thrones on a bar tab
Yeah,
for the whole gang, so they were getting drinks from our favorite Varushkan bartender. We even got
nice.
because we're all just absolutely baked. So they allowed us to run a game of blackjack for ourselves. They gave us a float of like a bunch of rings and stuff, and we just sat there running our own blackjack game, getting absolutely stonked on drugs, dealing with random people who would come in and join us at the table, and oh, it was so much
Nice.
fun. It was so chill, very good. I think I'm out of the drugs. I'm literally out of drugs. I sold all of them at E3. Um,
Went
and
on a full bender
yeah, it was a
with the
real
rest of the
bender, and we
gang.
don't have any more. We really
No.
don't. But if I can acquire some more, I might not get another, 100 lammies, but I might get 20, so we can have another fun evening as a big group.
It was very entertaining, honestly.
Mm, 10 out of 10.
Uh, Clarification: these are all in character drugs.
Yes,
It's all
no, yeah,
role-play
no, I'm
effect.
too boring to do OC drugs, unfortunately. The last thing I need is an upper. I'm
Very
already
entertaining,
up.
honestly. Great RP effects. So highly
Yeah.
recommend. So that then leads on to Sunday,
Mm,
which
does indeed.
Sunday morning kicked off with a banger, which is monstering. Now, Finn, is
Of Gin Club
pretty much
fame.
our of Gin Club fame, and is pretty much our EMU organizer.
He
And
is our EMU
EMUs again,
organizer. Yeah.
really entertaining these days. It seems that PD are putting a lot more effort into them, and it's getting really exciting. But this time we were Jotun, so we couldn't pull out our previous EMU of the Druge. But they're kind of encouraging to diverse a bit as well. So
Yeah, so
this was
your emu is, rather than just fighting as, the Blob of Navari playing as Druge today, you're a
yeah,
specific unit from the wiki page, like it might be Pakad or Skjold born as something from,
yeah.
Druge or Jotun, but you pick
But
one.
technically, even if you're fighting as Navarre, you'll be told which one you're fighting as. So
True. But
they're
you get
just a
kind of
different type
like a
of.
personal unit
You get a personal
history and
unit, you get a
yeah,
personal brief, you get a couple of other things.
get some
It's
magic
just a bit more
items.
exciting.
Yeah.
And Black Scar is already like big enough to do it itself. So there is a Navarre EMU, but there is now also a Black Scar EMU, which is really cool.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, realistically, we were coming up with a lot of things, but the one that stuck while we were out on the field trying to come up with a unit name was the Girth Guard.
I was on a real one with the word girth the last few
Yeah,
months, and it maintains to this
even if
day.
it wasn't our necessarily purely in character um, unit name, it was the one we were going by for today.
Yeah, yeah. First battalion, first company, Girth Guard had a variety of platoons
So
available, being carted
we
over
would
to the
like to
battlefield.
tell you a story, and we're going to start with the story of the what was it? Did, who were first squad? Do we just go down the
Yeah, so we
line?
had Alpha
Or
Alpha platoon, A platoon.
we were Alpha Platoon. So A Platoon. What did A Platoon get up to? Well, this was the first outing of the Girth Guard. Alpha Platoon sent out on the patrol, looking for some Imperials looking to clear, and that is when we were in the copse.
At the
For
start of
the
the battle.
Imperials to the left of the field, for the Jotun the right of the field. Very start of the battle. We were there to skirmish against any of the units that we'd be facing. Now, there are only three possible Imperial forces that we might be facing: Dawn, Wintermark, or the Marchers. Now, we weren't very heavily armored, let's just say.
We still had heavy, but it's not full plate. Coverage isn't as solid. Haven't got as many
I don't know.
shields.
I don't think many of us were full heavy. I was. I think I was heavy.
We do get
I might have
the
done.
breastplates from Monster, which do count as heavy now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I might have just gone full light. The whole pitch was we were going berserkers though,
yeah,
and that's kind of what we stuck by.
yeah. We were
And
shock troop
so
Skalderborn. Is that it for Jotun?
like that,
Something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
whatever. It was great. So Alpha Platoon see Dawn, the one we didn't want,
Mm.
coming up the line, but that is no shock for Alpha Platoon of the Girth Guard. Someone calls it to Girth.
Bring them to girth. That was it. Should we? Oh, you know what? Let's go. Yeah.
No,
Sorry. Keep going.
we
Keep
we
going.
don't run them down. We don't run them down the whole line. We can't give them the special orders. Anyway, everyone charges all at once the Dornish line. And they were not expecting this because we go through them.
Mm.
I'm like 3 Dornish deep at this point, just cleaving legs. It was fucking incredible. Seeing the absolute terrified faces of these Dornishmen that we just clattered into.
And they were so confident. They thought, "Oh, great! Oh, this is
They
clearly
were so
Navarre-based
confident. They
orcs.
were
We're gonna fuck
rocking
them
up,
up."
going, "We're gonna slaughter them," and then we go, "No, Uno reverse card, incoming,"
Mm.
and we actually shit them up.
We really did. We
It's
got,
so
yeah, we got
funny.
we their first front line we wiped. It was just the second line that then turned and got us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So
we single-handedly paralyzed that flank for
that
5
was
minutes in a
beautiful.
single charge. It was because they
Did we all
just
die?
yes,
Yes. Was that
absolutely,
the point?
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Uh, we laid our lives down for the sake of the Oten,
The
the
girth.
Girth, and for the absolute terrified faces of the Dawn. I got actually so many people of the Dawn, like they helped me up as I was leaving, but they were like, absolutely sick, man.
Yeah,
Keep
same.
that up.
Yeah, yeah,
They absolutely loved that. It was
yeah. That was
beautiful.
hardcore. And
Yeah.
now that Alpha Platoon is dead, maybe a little bit of a brief regimental background on the Girth Guard.
Yeah.
So, the Girth Guard believed that the Howling Abyss can be piled up with bodies so that future generations can walk across more easily. And they fully consign
This is
themselves to
Chris
that.
Cannon.
This is my canon, yeah, for my shittily named unit. But well, I guess I gave it the namesake. It's still Finn's unit, but the idea is we can block the abyss with all of our corpses. So we're really not. It's not. We're not. It's not that we're willing to die. We want to die, but we're not afraid to die in battle, an honourable
Yeah,
battle.
it's
Um,
it's it's worth saying we weren't literally suiciding.
mm,
We just weren't afraid to die, so we were quite happy taking the fight to them and not fearing. And there's so many. I mean, we'll get to Beta Squadron,
mm,
but
oh yeah, we will.
Alpha
But
was a good
it was a
start.
really
Let's
good
just
start. It's just
say.
the look on their eyes. They were just like, oh fuck. It's just we started to roll over. I just started hacking at the legs, just yelling cleave
Like, yeah,
repeatedly
it's
until they
some.
take it.
I had like 7 cleaves with me for only that first charge, so I
Yeah,
was using them. And so I was
yeah.
cleaving legs left, right, center. Someone cleaved my leg, and I was still going. And they're just like, "Ugh."
Just Beyblading around.
Yeah, oh, it's so
Whoop, whoop,
good.
whoop, 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 with a sword. But the other part is on the OC side, we often try and fight together. We get one good charge off, and then we're all fragmented because some of us survive, some fall back. We don't rally in the same place, we don't respawn in the same place. So
Yeah,
I suggested we take it real fucking simple. We have two.
yeah.
We have one order, which is charge. And when you charge, you keep fighting until you are dead or they are dead, and at which point you patch up your friends which are down. But that's it. That's literally it. So each time we charge and each time we engage the various platoons, we do an incredible amount of damage. Inevitably, we would either punch through a line or we'd be killed within the space of a minute, probably less. And it was very
So funny
binary
though,
in
because
that regard.
the fight. This was in like the first 5 minutes of the fight, and we were heading off to respawn,
All of
and they were
us.
like, "Way!"
Yeah. So
So off we go.
yeah, because we had a one
Alpha.
common, we'd always go back to that main gate to respawn as a group. And I'll shut up for now, but it worked a charm.
So Alpha Squadron or the platoon are lost.
Mm,
Beta platoon have been sent out at probably a similar time, looking for Imperials at a different part of the battlefield. Now the battle had kind of moved a little bit by the time Beta platoon had arrived, so we were heading up from the bottom gate, kind of up through the copse onto the field to
like a big
take the fight
diagonal
with
from
the
Monster Gate
Imperials.
Yeah.
We'd also heard there was possibly some ritualists that we could fuck up.
Mm.
And there were. And we saw them and we started to head towards them. But at that point, their little friends to the left, who had kind of stretched out, were like, we can't let them. So they started charging us, thinking
Oh,
they were going to scare us 20 or so Jotun off. But no, because we're the Girth Guard. So instead of charging at the ritualists, we turn and charge back at the people charging at us.
yeah.
That's right, a full on counter charge. And this is
Mm.
probably one of the most cinematic moments I think I've ever experienced
Yeah,
and loved.
same. Words out of my
Hands
mouth.
down.
Agreed. Yeah, hands down. Out of a film, two lines of infantry, in line but loose. It's not like we're in lockstep, running,
Yeah.
sprinting at each other. And
We
when the
were sprinting.
lines
And
hit,
again,
oh,
when we said about the Dornish faces, these people's faces as we countercharged them were just as beautiful. It
mm,
was just
oh.
so perfect. They were like,
Some of them
what?
stopped. Some of them stopped. It was
Some of them
Wintermark,
stopped.
and it was
Yeah.
open flat field. So Wintermark with this blob of maybe about 40 warriors handing up. You know where the cop starts to curve towards the gate? There's that big thick bush.
Yeah.
They were there. We'd taken a diagonal from Monster Gate at the bottom of the field, right near the God Tent,
Yeah.
all the way up to the where let's call it the right hand side of the field, in line with the gate, the main gate.
Yeah.
And yeah, we start the charge, and they start to fear us because they see that we're running at them, and you see some slow down, some taper off to the side, some just
Yeah.
stop
They
because
start charging, and it's
yeah.
worth noting they outnumber us probably 3-1. Okay, and
Ah,
so they're expecting us to back off
yeah,
because that's probably what most monster units have done, or most things that they've encountered do. But no, we
or
turn
form a
to
shield
face
wall,
them
something
and
sensible.
almost usual something sensible. No, we countercharge them and we look them dead in the face, and I get again 3, you know, winter markers deep, just cutting them down slowly. And honestly, at the point where we are all on the floor, I'm hearing genuinely terrified screams for like, medic, physic, from people probably 10 meters, deep in what would be considered behind my line,
Mm.
because the second group of reinforcements are coming in,
Yep, second group of Jotun.
and we had put some people down.
Oh god, so the like you said, the most cinematic moment of my life. And it's like, like in the films when the two lines hit each other and there's a bit of
Yeah.
overlap, like the front line won't just stop
Yeah.
like they would do in reality. We went past each other. I remember using my shield to parry someone's sword. I just pushed them out pushed the sword out my way, stepped past them. Another one, I take a hit from them, but they don't do anything. And then I run into this terrified-looking Storm Crow who's like, and I just start going cleave, 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 start chopping away. And then this geezer comes in with a Dane axe, goes whomp, impale. I go down. At this point,
Yeah.
Keelan Jockle jumps over the dead Storm Crow and then launches another repale into the Dane axe. Dane axe goes down, and then another mage comes in, paralyzes Keelan, and then he gets chopped to bits. He falls on top of me, like deliberately. We form a corpse pile, and it's the most. You can just imagine the film camera there taking these little 4 second clips, and the whole fight was over in what 30 seconds. But out of
Oh
40
yeah.
charging Wintermark, 25, maybe just shy of 30 Jotun. I think there was 7 to 10 left standing, 7 to 10 Imperials left at the end of that. It was like
Oh,
that,
it's beautiful.
in Saving Private Ryan, where the music and the sound kind of goes out and you get the tinnitus ringing, and there's that guy just stumbling around on the beach picking up his arm. It was like that, lying on the floor, pretending to be dead but looking around. The
It's just
Imperials were
the
stunned.
screams for like physic. You could tell people were actually terrified. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Well done.
it was absolutely outstanding. And
That was one of the best charges we
oh,
had. Well
and
done,
oh
Beta Company.
yeah, bravo,
Pretty good
effing
team.
chap. But I guess the only thing that gets close is the original Dawn of War Warhammer 40,000 game, the intro cinematic to that, when the Marines charge the orcs and then the melee sequences kick off. and how like an orc will take the arm off a marine, another marine will come in, stab them, or like light them up with a heavy bolter, then an orc with a flamer. It's just that kind of chaotic 1-to-1 to 1-to-1 to 1 ratio. It was absolutely manic. But 11 out of 10, best
However,
monster experience for now.
as before, Bravo headed back to respawn,
Ooh, yeah.
and Charlie Company were now about to search for the remnants of Alpha and Bravo.
Mm.
However, what was unique about Charlie Company is they were led by some Napoleonic leader
A particularly bald-looking, Chris-sounding orc.
who put us into 3 columns. It just got us speeding. Oh, this was incredible as well. Three
Yeah.
columns of Jotun is what he said. So we got into 3 columns, and then we started walking, and then we started walking faster, then marching, and then jogging, and then as we got, I don't know, it's probably within about 20 meters, just sprinting at them. Three
Mm.
columns of Jotun into a line. Again, scenes were happening. Scenes were happening.
Mm.
Probably slightly less effective, but not any less fun.
Yeah, I
Um,
got to shout Wintermark. They did it was a thin line of them as well. It was only about 10 of them. They
yeah,
held it because we'd been ordered by the refs to um, go from Godgate and go right up the path adjacent to the fence. So
yeah,
left of the cops, and so it's a very thin alleyway. And as
yeah.
we form up, like you said, in wait for the other. Like, everyone like wants to walk off, and I'm like, no, halt. Everyone gets in, form 3 columns, and we start walking pace. And they've seen us because there's a light skirmish going on with some other Jotun, and you can see the looks in their eyes of like, oh fuck, that's a reinforcement column. But then we just, because it's a straight line, we've got our own perfect path, get to the
And we
job.
are a full-on column
It's
charge.
big. It's
It's
like 30 orcs, 10 ranks deep. And then, obviously, like you said, go to the sprint. We hit them and we evaporate because we pushed them back about 10 meters, but we're literally running at them, pushing them away,
yeah.
driving them gently, because you're allowed to gently push your shields, gently pushing them away, but then falling because, they're bopping us in the head and stuff. Carefully. There was no injuries, of course. It was just, we'd taken plenty of hits.
Honestly, commendations for this event. I think this was a lot better handled, much less problems with pull blows and
Yeah, no
things.
see injuries, very, very few.
Yeah,
Yeah, so and they held the winter mark held, and I cannot imagine how terrifying that must have been from the other side because I was confident we were going to batter them, and we went
yeah.
in, we pushed them back, but they held. I got picked up no, eight times, one
I
hit
was up
point.
about half of that, probably four
Yeah,
times. But yeah, a lot of
yeah,
lot of in comparison to the last two that were charge effective
one
dead.
pump and done.
This was this was a charge and quite a bit of a little bit more of a stalemate, so a lot more getting back up, going straight back in, getting
Mm,
back up, going straight back in. There was a comment here. I'd say this was at the moment where there was a interesting ref call. Not going to bring it up. Don't think it needs to be brought up in the podcast. But there was something that was a bit weird that kind of shook up that battle for me. But yeah. Otherwise,
interesting.
Girthguard, incredible.
Yeah.
We've discussed it in the past. It
Oh,
was
okay, cool, cool, cool.
it was a weird one. It didn't really fall in line with the rules that we know. Um,
Oh, yeah,
but
I
it
know what you're
happened a
talking about.
couple of
Yep.
times. Don't I
Yeah,
don't think it needs to be
whatever.
brought up on
Yeah,
this
whatever.
one. But
Yeah, we can leave that. But yeah, the impact we're having, because this is our third respawn in the space of 20 minutes. But as a cohesive unit, so we get the big, glorious big boy charges off. We have great fun. The players, as we're going down, they're going like, "Oh, fucking hell, guys, thank you," or like
yeah,
that was epic and that kind of stuff. And we do all get wiped eventually, and we respawn for Delta this time. Delta platoon.
Delta this time were deployed in the forest as
Mm,
opposed to the field. Can't remember who was in
I
charge of
think
Delta.
Keelan had this one.
This was our last proper charge.
Yeah.
The rest of the battle had kind of taken place. Last opportunity for the Girth Guard to really make an effect. And this one was against Dawn in the woods.
Toughie.
I don't I don't really remember much of this other than going down on the wrong side of the lines. Uh, but there was a lot of Dawn and a lot of hurting Dawn and a lot of dead Dawn around. That's all I kind of remember. It was
Yeah,
a
we
haze.
bounced off. We didn't bounce off them. We hit them, died, pushed them off a bit, but yeah, we didn't get back up because they just rolled back over. They really had the momentum. We didn't stop them. We slowed them down, but yeah, we got because the wood broke up our formation. We hit them in dribs and drabs. We're still talking dribs and drabs over the space of 20 seconds, but that is in comparison to the usual 1 sec. Excuse me, the
Yeah,
usual 1 second we'd have with the other three charges. But yeah,
yeah. But
we
again,
got spanked in a good way.
we did. But so did Dawn in those woods. So can't complain.
God, that is a
Um,
totally OC comment or outside of cast. A gigantic spider, even by my non-arachnophobe standards, has just crawled onto the table and is now just chilling. Damn.
I've got a very long legs listening.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna. Yeah, maybe he's just enjoying the high quality content. This is my first subscriber, first
oh, there
Patreon.
you go.
Is our halogen.
Yeah,
All right, apologies.
top
That
one.
was I know on an audio-based medium, me describing the spider is pointless, but maybe I'll grab a picture or something.
Who
But
knows? Maybe it's
yeah,
the pick of the episode, the
mm,
the the, the thumbnail pick.
it's just a spider. Yeah, you're right actually. Awesome. All right, I'm doing that.
Fun.
Cool. But yeah,
So
Delta gets wiped.
uh, Echo is remaining.
Mm. Echo's the
Now
foreign
uh,
exchange platoon.
these were the foreign exchange platoon. To the keen-eared among you, or the more I don't know foreign aware. These had a French accent
Hmm.
for no apparent reason. Lots of coward jokes being thrown around. We don't endorse them obviously here on the Dead Chats podcast. Definitely
Mm.
wasn't any of us making those jokes. Um, However, the French contingent of well, it wouldn't be French, would it? I don't even know what the equivalent is.
Acevian, I think. Yeah, the Acevian.
Yeah,
We were just exchange
that's
troops.
a
So we had
pain.
Lothy, Big Boss, wasn't leading the unit at any point, but was basically a minor noble out for a jolly
Yeah,
on the battlefield. And then
it
this
didn't
time,
matter.
just real snooty,
Look,
looking
we've
for
gone
his
through a lot.
brothers.
We've gone through a lot, so it was a last ditch attempt. Realistically, we didn't really get a proper charge with this one. We got sent round to the other side of the forest for respawn, and then got sent in for another angle. No real proper charges. Kind of the fight was over, and there was a whole kind of meeting at the gate where they were exchanging their dead. But we bring this one up for one pertinent moment, which was as a group of us came across a Jotun like healer healing what was quite clearly
An Imperial.
OC, an Imperial who was
Mm.
just happened to be dressed in red. And there was a lot of comments back and forth, especially between whoever my orc was and whoever your orc was, about whether we should just interrupt this healing process and take
Kill
them
him.
out. But
Yeah.
I gave them quite a good RP moment of, well, are they? Keep an eye on them, all that. And then we slowly followed them after they'd been healed as they walked back towards the gate and then broke off into a jog. I started sprinting at them.
Like, oi, you come back.
And honestly, fair play to the refs. I almost got body checked by one of them because they thought I was going to sprint through the gate. I
Mm.
wasn't, but they didn't know that, and that's totally fair. Um, but I wanted to give this person, I you were calling it out. I could tell that this person was clearly an imperial, but you wanted to give them that fun little bit of game of you know getting away with it. Essentially, like, don't want to style someone. They were playing the whole kind of deception angle anyway. And it was good fun.
Mm.
We chased them back, but they managed to run all the way back to imperial lines. So good for them.
Yeah, they got, and that's the thing. The Jotuns, we're not going to kill them quietly in the woods. You fought honorably,
Yeah.
live another day, blah blah blah. they weren't Navarre, so you know it was the right
Yeah,
thing.
they
It was
weren't
the right
Navarre. We
icy thing to
excused them
do.
there and then.
But it was very cool watching them look sheepish when they realised that as you and I showed up, trouble was
Yep.
brewing.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. Yeah, it just was also quite funny, as I said, watching the refs almost body check me as I was running through the gate.
A
Wasn't
force
running
of
through the
nature
gate.
stops you from
I
moving.
was, I was, I was pausing beforehand. I wasn't going to chase them through the gate, but yeah, as I said, they didn't know that. So good job from them,
Mm.
just in case. Um, yeah, and that was it. Then it was sayonara to the rest of the Imperial forces and off bank for debrief. Mission success from the Girth Guard, I'd say.
Yeah, gave them a good fight. We got to actually cohesively fight as a unit because we could all, the fact you and I can talk about this experience and actually do it together instead of we were more cohesive as the Girth Guard than we were as Black Scar, you could argue.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, much lower casualty rate in Black Scar, but I think we went through
Yeah,
what 3, 6,
pro-
9, 12,
probably
10.
still just about more effective as Black Scar, but Girth Guard,
Yeah.
it's their first outing.
Yeah,
They know.
120 orcs dead.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite bad, but
Yeah.
uh, but
But
120 orcs worth of game,
oh
I'd
yeah,
say.
we've got more to come. A lot more to come.
No.
But yeah,
Um,
I guess final note for me. Um, earlier I talked about sort of tactics, getting people prep for a skirmish mentally. We're talking about the Great Forest
Yeah.
Talks one. I got
Yep.
invited to my first captain's meeting because now I'm a captain.
Great.
Yeah, I got the badge. Woo! Um, I'll talk about it after the podcast goes out 'cause we're 2 days away, so this might affect game. But yeah, really enjoyed being a captain. Got invited to the meeting, and basically the idea of standardization got brought up, and it's very hard at LARP to get what are a bunch of nerds to not only fight coherently, but then standardize that process as well. But we're going to
Yeah.
basically have a crack at it, and it's going to be based on, some of the things that Dread Shields have done, what Thornfang have done, and what Black Scar have done as well. So the TLDR is in the next 24 hours, I've got to write up what I've dubbed the Codex Navari of basically like how do we organize skirmishes properly. So it's not like, you will have a sword and a spear and a shield and 2 potions. It's nowhere near that detailed. It's kind of like how do we organize the leadership cadre around each skirmish. So is there, I've taken like a four-square approach to make it fun, right? So you've got your leader, your captain, who is the one I see experience. They're responsible for avoiding failure. Number 2 is your less experienced captain who wants to step up. So let's take Munich Red, for example. This is what
That's
I've
really
based it on.
important as well. Yep.
Yeah, so they're responsible for success, doing all the glorious stuff, charging, being the big win. So the idea is the one IC sets up the two IC to deliver success. 3 IC is a banner bearer. So there's some banners are getting made for Navarre to take into battle. So having a standard bearer, a color sergeant, because it's worked so well with Black Scar. I think if we can, if the nation can, through a variety of different means, get some banners together, because we have some already for groups, but just have a Navarre battle standard, just a generic one. It's
Mm.
not enchanted or important, but it's a pretty flag. That would be sick. And then finally, a something I would like to call not a commissar, but a discipline officer, because one thing we struggle with is people in the line suddenly taking charge of like 6 people around them and ordering a retreat. It's a major problem and basically stamping out dissent in the ranks. So there is going to be a judge, jury, and executioner walking around, ideally, who will stamp down on that kind of behavior and encourage people through fear rather than through example.
Mm.
Yeah, not sure how the last one is going to land, but basically I need to write that up effectively before the end. And we'll see how it pitches, because I would love to see Jockle going around with a two-handed bardiche. Anybody who starts chatting out of line, he just pulls them into the back and slices off a leg.
Yeah. You'll have to prep his virtue arguments for that one, but
Oh yeah, definitely. That's going
it'll
to
be
be
fun.
a real challenge. But yeah, that aside, really cool to see the captains meeting and how like this stuff is organized. And
Mm-hmm.
it is organized. It is organized. It's just very hard to be, to herd this many cats and get things done. So shout out to the
Definitely.
captain crew. Very fun, cool to be part of it, and very much looking forward to doing more of it at E4 in now, since it's 20 to 1 in the morning on Wednesday, the 6th of September. Um, a couple days.
Couple days.
Couple
Yeah, I mean,
days.
my wrap up of Sunday is MC giving orders. There you go.
Mm.
Slightly annoying that the rain hit and the cars came on the field early again. Seems like
Ah,
that's a
yeah.
huge theme of this year. And looking at the weather could be the exact same theme of the coming summit too.
The
But
Sunday doesn't look too bad. For I don't think it has any rain actually. Hang on, silver.
yeah, but that's gonna change. Um,
Oh, it has. Yeah. Fuck.
yeah, it's gonna
We've.
be
Oh my God.
exactly the
It's.
same.
Sorry. Go on. I'm interrupting.
But which is always a slight downer. Like I understand that with the whole situation of things and people want to get off field and totally get that. It just, you know, it does ruin a game basically. Like the game is ended straight off the battle at this point,
Yeah.
um, which is really
It's
annoying.
it's always been the soft case, but yeah, seeing cars on the field,
As
yeah,
soon as cars are on the field, it's dead because
it's totally dead.
you
Yeah.
can't play the game
But the
anymore.
thing is,
Now
I
you
feel
are
bad for the
just playing a
senators
silly game.
because they're in there till 3 o'clock.
Senators and like generals have to be in there until
Yeah,
timeout.
and there's fucking like
Same.
Honda Civics driving by, and you're like,
Yeah,
yes, we need more
it's
mana
really
crystals.
bad.
As someone,
Like
stalls their engine.
I get it and I understand on the OC perspective, but if I'm just purely going off, how it affects it, it really does. The game's over at that point.
Yeah, PD should invest in a couple of
Really,
oxen to just drag a cart around and use that instead.
or yeah, come up with I don't know what you can do at that point, but it's almost if you're going to be IC, yeah, I don't. There's no real solution other than
Yeah, oh
either
God.
longer game times or you know stronger expectations.
It's
But
it's going to be
I
30 degrees during the battle on Saturday.
no, don't. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's still a downer. Don't fully know the solution to it, but
yeah.
it's a shame that the game basically ends as soon as we're off the battle on a Sunday. But
Bright
still got
side,
to
it will be sunny at 3 o'clock. It's just between 3 and 6. That's when I quote a scattered thunderstorm will arrive. So yeah,
so probably expect a slightly earlier pack time still.
yeah,
Um,
It's looking, yeah, 3 o'clock
but
is
yeah,
42%. So yeah, yeah. Basically,
but yeah,
maybe after the battle, pre-pack a bit, but there's
E3,
sunny weather.
as far as I can remember, was a good one,
It was very good. Yeah,
and I'm
solid 8 out of 10
sure
event.
E4 just around the corner in a day or so. It's just gonna be as good. So thank you everybody for listening to this late night drunken ramble
Hmm.
uh, of a recollection of an event that did happen such a long time ago. Sorry it's late. Apparently, some people are busy, and we could never find time for it. Hence, it's been in two parts. So late.
Yeah. The ironic thing is, I know we were chatting before this, like, yeah, we'll be quick. We'll be quicker than the other episode. How
Yeah,
long
we're
was the
just
other episode?
oh, we
I
blame Matty half the time. Let's face it, but realistically, it's all of these super detailed chats about the battles that we go into. We
Yeah.
don't have Matty to stop us about. So sorry about
Are
that.
we the baddies?
We might
Girth.
be the baddies.
Yeah, I've just, oh damn it, I know that'll be on the recording now. I just started playing it, and so the word girth will just appear for the listeners. I'm sorry, but it's at the 2 hour 16 mark, and we are at 2 hours 19, so we've pipped it by 3 minutes.
Well, there we go.
We're
Thank you,
officially the
everybody.
problem.
You're probably listening to this as you have arrived at Anvil. if I know any of your listeners. So see you soon.
Yeah, see you
Buy us a
soon.
pint in the forge.
Oh yeah, buy pints. Yeah, yes please.
Or we'll buy you a pint. Come have a chat. Let's
Yeah,
have a chat.
if you can
That's what
quote
we're here
one
for.
episode, we'll buy you a pint
If you can quote the secret word
of
from
today's
each of
episode.
these, from today's episode to us at the Forge this evening, because clearly you're listening to this on the Thursday,
Mhm.
um, then we might buy you a pint.
Yeah,
Who knows?
well we
See you
do.
then.
We will. See you then.
We do. And don't call any strange numbers.
No, do not send Girth to 069 069.
Don't do it, Greg.
Do not,
Please don't.
Greg, please don't. Again. Cool. That wraps it up for tonight. Thank you again, Sol, for joining. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you in 2 days.
Strength to the Empire.
Straight to the bar.
There we go. That's enough of a distinction from the classic LARP noobs ending.
Yeah,
Um,
legalist distinct. Right, I'm ending it. Bye.